What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Giuseppe Montesano, Jimmy Eats Soup, Mitch Kennedy, Original D-Rose, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Revolter, J Mels 24, Unimento, M, Iron 26, Endless, Goldie McKinnon, Retro Bill, More Books, Canna Bear, Bogey, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Maria Nealand, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, Tina Baker, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Like blue skies and I don't know, because I was driving down like a vineyard, like a populated area, right? And you just picked up like the mid of that conversation, and I'm like, oh wow, this doesn't quite make sense if I'm just walking into it. Like, what is righteous force on about? Anyways, it is what it is.
I have no idea. I've only just got here, so I don't really know what you're talking about. Sorry.
All right, don't worry about it. It is what it is. So how's things going, Nathan?
Yeah, fine. Other than my monitor being a complete pain in the ass.
Did you test it with the monitor being orientated correctly?
By correctly, you mean incorrectly.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Horizontally is incorrectly for me because it's now sticking out into the room. And just this morning, my eldest daughter clonked her head on it. Anyway, other
She
than
clonked
that,
her head
yes,
on the TV?
Say again?
She clonked her head on the TV?
Yeah, it's sticking out into the room. It's designed to go vertically into a gap that's been made for it. Now it's not vertical; it's horizontal. So it's sticking out into the room. It's awkward. It's in the way. It's making me feel very claustrophobic. But other than that, it works. So I'm sure I'll cobble by till I figure out a way of. Well, I haven't been able to figure out a way of solving the problem, and I've spent 3 days on it. So.
Well, if it really is the orientation, you got to look up other things.
Yeah, it is the
You
orientation.
confirmed it? Well, then that's just like a. Go on.
No, that's it. It's the orientation. If it's vertically orientated, it crashes to varying extents. So it could just take the game I'm testing the system with down. It could take the stream down. It could take the entire computer down. It's done all of those. If I run it like this, it doesn't. If I run it horizontally, it doesn't. So it is literally just that. And I've reinstalled Windows 3 times. I've reinstalled graphics card drivers. I've rolled back drivers. You name it, I've done it. I've done all sorts over the last 3 days since it crashed on Thursday.
Ah, yes, I remember the rolling back driver days.
Well, I've tried everything.
Not
Nothing
fun.
solves the problem. Anyway.
Well, yeah, anyways.
I did ask my computer guy to have a look at it. He had a quick look at it and couldn't figure out a quick solution. So I've sent him a message saying, look, if this isn't something that you do, fine, I'll get someone else to do it. But I do need to resolve the problem. I can't leave it like it is. Temporarily, I can, obviously.
And what did he say?
I don't know, I'm back from him. I only sent him that message this morning. Then I've got waylaid doing other things. My intention was immediately to get on the case and find some tech guy who's software orientated.
Right.
I just haven't had a chance. .
Yeah, when it comes to software, it's like, I mean, software being compatible with hardware, because sometimes the software is not compatible with hardware. Like, you know this with gaming, right? Like sometimes people that have problems in certain games depends on like if they're using NVIDIA or AMD, right? So that kind of gives them a different solution to the problems they may have. If you're an NVIDIA user, do this. If you're an AMD user, do that, right?
Sure.
So there's also that aspect.
No, I get it. Different architectures have different foibles. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward, regardless of the workaround that I'm having to go through. I'm relatively confident that we'll just have consistent shows now. Even if I can deal with a really hot room, I'm sure I can deal with having no space and being cramped up into a little corner with a TV on top of me or monitor.
Right. And you also said because of this PC stuff, you're more focused on a PC and you talk more PC. But I guess with this behind us, then you'll be more focused on, like, do you normally, like, before this PC stuff, did you normally check out other FE stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I was taking you were reading my moany messages in Skype, right?
I did check those out too, but you also kind of said that when we were talking in Discord in that test show you had.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be. I'd be doing that. Yeah.
So that would be all right, because I don't check that any other channels anymore. So getting my news through here, if I can get my news through here, it'd be better, so to say, right?
Yeah, I
My
mean,
one stop, so to say.
things won't necessarily change in that regard. I mean, people are still going to come and present information to us, and we're going to critique it, or we'll proactively go out after people's videos. Either way, just my focus will be a lot more geared towards the show's content rather than the show's production or the hardware that's used to produce the show, which is what my focus has been on for the last 10 months. Now I'm hoping I can start refocusing on the show and building it back up a little bit more than it has been. I mean, it hasn't stopped growing, it's still growing a little bit, but the growth has slowed down since my focus has been drawn elsewhere. So hopefully that can be adjusted.
Right. So you can talk about things like, oh, the latest taboo conspiracy video. Did you guys see that? It was very
Yeah, it did.
fascinating.
So there you go. Exactly. So I did see the latest video. He doesn't need to.
Yeah, 'cause-
I don't know. He doesn't. He starts off by telling people to go to the original video because you won't understand if you haven't watched it. Now, don't get me wrong. I had watched the original video as well, but he didn't need to. He doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to tell people to go away. You know what I mean? That was my only critique of the entire video. Other than that, glorious. And while you're watching stuff like that, you're like, yeah, why aren't more people shouting about this? The stars would move around as you traversed a spherical surface, and they go up and above you as you dipped around the curve of the Earth. They don't. That's it. There's not a lot else to say about it, but it's a stone cold proof that we ain't turning. You're not traversing a curved surface.
right. And there was more than one video source on that. He had a couple in the second video, part two. So he had a couple of more sources that people posted in the comment section. That's where he got those videos in part two. So it's not just one source either, it's various sources.
No,
That's
I'm
pretty
glad
good.
he immediately followed it up, and it just shows the fact that it's common. This isn't some rare occurrence he's caught. It's like, no, that's just their motion. You're all familiar with it. The stars do just do what they do.
Right. I wondered if it's something like this that could catch more mainstream traction and just
I,
just push it
I
more
was
out there,
thinking the
because it
exact
seems like,
same thing. Exactly. It is so much more simple than detailing the line of position and I don't know, whatever else in celestial navigation that's complicated. Circles of equal elevation, elevation angle measurements, stuff like that is relatively complex. Once you've got your head around it, it isn't like anything. And it's not that hard to get your head around it, but get your head around it you must in order to understand how it's proving Earth's measured flat. However, once you understand this example from Ben, you suddenly start going, no, that's a much more simplistic way of detailing how the movement of the stars shows us that we're on a flat plane. We're not traversing a curve. The consequences would be obvious and are not. So therefore, next step for that guy would be to look at, well, how are the stars operating? That's where we come in.
Right.
So we're currently detailing how the stars, in terms of their position above the ground at a given time, is useful for finding your way around. Well, in terms of where they are above the ground, that directly correlates to a much more simplistic explanation from Taboo Conspiracy, where you say, no, if as you move over a curved surface, there are consequences that aren't in effect here. That summary is so succinct that most people will get that pretty quickly. Especially with it, he doesn't even need the visual example. For me personally, he just needs to say it, and I go, yeah, of course, that's not a sphere. So why would it exhibit that sphere-like behaviour? It's never going to. But for your average layman, that's a really good eye-opening example, I would say.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. And like I notice the other side always seems to have some sort of explanation, right? But like, how would they explain this away? I know other times when they couldn't explain something away, they just kind of like they didn't understand it. They actually completely misrepresent the argument. Like for example, that we would see parallax, or wait, I'm not thinking of a great example of what it is. But sometimes they don't explain things away. They just have ignorance in the area and they don't understand it, or they completely misrepresent the argument, or they say it does work like this within perspective, but really it doesn't work. They just say it does, kind of thing, right? So they say they have the answer and they say this explains it and it works, but it doesn't. Follow what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. All heliocentrism is based on an apologetic or an excuse for why something isn't working the way it would work if we were on a ball. And when there is no end to or there is no solution to their problem, they just call it a paradox. Oh, well, that's paradoxically how the sphere Earth does work. No, you wouldn't. You can't have paradoxes. That's the point of them. But within your model, when you try and describe the world as such, it has paradoxes in it. Because the world doesn't work like that. The world isn't spherical. It's flat. So it works flat. When it comes to anything important, that's how it's dealt with.
I guess, yeah. Anyways, did you hand out a Skype link? How come Neil's not piping up?
Oh, it's because I only sent it to Adam Meakin.
Oh,
Last person I've just put the link in the wrong box. That's all.
because I'm staring at my food and I'm like, now is a good time for Neil to pipe up and.
He'll be here momentarily.
Yeah.
Or at least we would hope he would be here momentarily. I've just shared the link in Skype, so we'll see how it goes. A couple of other people. Sensual has said hello to me earlier. I'm sure Jorge will in a minute.
Do we have a video for today, Nathan? Very excited.
No, not that I know of. I'm sure 10th will provide one once he gets here. If not, I'm sure we can struggle on with a bit of housekeeping.
Struggle? No, housekeeping's great.
Indeed. Hmm. Hmm. Well, this is fun without Neil.
Well,
By
in
fun, I mean
England,
quiet.
we're experiencing. Sorry.
I was just saying how quiet it was. Don't you worry. You go ahead.
England at the moment, we're experiencing climate change activists who are blocking the road and stopping people getting to work and hospitals and where they need to be. And their intentions are good, so to speak. They think they're trying to put a message out there to stop an injustice in the world, against the world. But I wonder if somebody wants to explain to them, well, how can you have the greenhouse effect without a greenhouse? I wonder if they'd be out there on the street still.
I don't know what they'd say. How can you have a greenhouse effect without a greenhouse? Well, you can't, can you?
It's a very simple contradiction within their paradigm.
Right.
But what I will say, with people like that, though, with activists, people who push the limit, at least they care about what they think the truth is. So to me, I think they're closer to where we are than someone who doesn't care.
Yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. There's potential in the fact that they're questioning some of the narratives they're given. Therefore, if they're questioning one narrative, there's a reasonable chance they might question another, right?
Well, yeah, they have a passion for what they think is truth. And so they're willing to defend that and put themselves out there to defend it. So it's a ladder you climb to get here, but if you're out there and you're stuck in the middle, at least you're climbing, you know. Whereas
Sure.
I'd rather talk to someone like that than someone who doesn't care, as I said, who's just apathetic to the situation or the subject.
Yeah, I'm a bit miserable in that regard. I'd rather not talk to any of them.
I understand that. It's the same within the metal community,
Metal?
amongst people my age, where it's a counterculture. And a lot of people within that community are very good people with good intentions. That whole community is based on, well, evolution, sphere Earth, space. That's the core of that, of the rhetoric and the ideas within that community. So again, it's another community of people that are so close to it, but yet so far.
Maybe. I'm sure there's a sphere of society that would say the same about us.
Sorry, I'm just rambling.
People should go out there wearing hug a smokestack t-shirt. Because you have two types of environmentalists, the ones who actually clean up the environment, and then you have the Marxist protesters who get on the news.
I think if you're making it on the news, you're probably serving their agenda in some form or another.
Exactly. Because it's always been strange. The environmental movement has always opposed new technology that reduces pollution, because that's not part of their agenda. Agenda is to stop mankind not improve mankind.
Well, this is a morose start.
Well, the nice thing about having the heliocentric model like torn down is, well, I don't buy any of this stuff anymore at all. Like how they say how all this pollution and stuff like that is causing all this and all that. Because I don't believe that's how the world works anymore. How they told me, right? Like when they put you in the box of how the world works, and then you can believe this stuff. But yeah, I mean, do any of you guys buy any of this stuff that it actually does anything or does change anything?
I think the world ticks on quite happily.
Yeah.
Well, for my locale here in the Niagara region, the record temperature was recorded back in 1948. That's 75 years ago. Well, there was a Democrat president because Hillary Clinton sent out a post. He goes, "It's feeling hot out. You can blame a Republican for that, right?" And I'm like, well, we haven't had the second hottest temperature occurred over 30 years ago. Where's this heat wave they keep talking about? Of course, certain areas of the planet get it, but not everywhere.
By heat wave, you mean summer?
Exactly. Yeah, and it's funny that we have our heat wave in the northern part of the planet when the sun is at its furthest distance from the Earth. According to the
yeah.
heliocentrics.
Another paradox, right?
Yeah, it's nine. I think 9 of the top 10 hottest temperatures occur in the north, never in the south.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me of a Jaren video a while back. How he explained how many differences there are between the north and the south, like the amount of animals, the amount of plant life. They're all like very different, when they really shouldn't be if they have like the same climate, right? Or they should have the same climate, so to say. But I think I heard the rebuttal for that, and the rebuttal they say for that is, oh, well, in the south there's like more oceans and more wind or more cold as a result of that or something.
Is that so?
But anyways, what's that?
Is that so?
Well, it is a just so story. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard once.
Then it's probably true.
Well, still no Neil, right? Let's see what's going on Skype. He says, "Want to let me in, please." So Neil wants in.
Can we hear you, Neil? Can you say something?
Is he in? He says he's speaking. But we can't hear him. Neil is typing. He says John hears him, and John hears Neil, and vice versa. Oh, no, I'm not sure. Did we lose you, Nathan?
No, I'm just busy. I thought that'd be obvious.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Nice. Sorry.
Okay, everything's all good. Hand down.
I hear you now.
Righteous.
Hello, John.
Now, what were you
Hey.
saying about Sabine?
I was watching her episode that y'all covered on entropy, and she was giving the story of the rebellious gas particles, but I didn't realize it at the time. I wasn't able to pay attention to the video. I had other stuff going on, but she was giving the same story about the rebellious gas particles that we give when we're joking around, but she was trying to make it serious.
So they're stealing our material. Son of a gun.
Not know the story of the rebellious gas particles, Neil.
What's that?
Do you not know the story of the rebellious gas particles?
Of course I do. They burned their bra, but she stole it from us, and she thinks it's real.
Well, in her version is that it's not that they're rebellious gas particles, it's just nobody's there to measure them. Therefore, the quantum state doesn't exist for them to continue off into space.
I personally I don't know why people struggle with the fact that we need containment. I thought that was a gimme. I mean, it's NASA. That's how they define it, correct?
At NASA, it's like Christmas elves. No one's there to see them. And strictly speaking, they are doing that stuff, aren't they?
Yes. It's the behavior, if you want to get a better word for behavior, but that's what gas does, right? I learned that here.
That's what its natural law is. But if you start talking about, like, if you confuse information with the medium that is succumbing to entropy, then you can confuse, you know, what something's natural law would be into, you know, there's no measurement taking place, so it might not be happening.
So the definition of natural law is it's something that occurs always, correct?
Something that we observe occurring in nature always.
Always, right? Okay, I got that. So it doesn't go through the scientific method, right? Because it doesn't have to. Do I have
She's
that right?
making the,
No.
she's
It's
making
not that it doesn't have to go through the scientific method. It's just a phenomena. Well, that would be step one. Hence me debating with Quantum Eraser whether or not you could put the second law of thermodynamics through the scientific method. And the answer is you could, but you'd be stupid to. You're never going to find the answer. but it's just the phenomena stage. If you want to put it in any sort of scientific terminology, it's going to be just step one: observe the natural phenomena, and then detail it really, really, really well, because it's a occurrence that everybody's observing, always occurring. That's why you have laws for them. So obviously, some things don't occur always, but they still occur. So those things don't become natural laws. But things like the arrow of time, I'm segueing back onto you in a second, John. That's why I've piped up as much as I have. When it comes to the arrow of time, or the second law of thermodynamics, how do they qualify anything when the qualification over time with entropy has been stolen to form a dimension in their rhetoric? How can you ever qualify anything in terms of entropy? You can't suddenly have an equivocation between time as a dimension and time as the qualifier in terms of the arrow of time. What is it? Is it the dispersion over time, or is it the dimension bending? You can't have it both ways if you're a heliocentric with a fourth dimensional time bending. Anyway, that was it, John. Sorry.
Oh yeah, well, I was just going to say, well, Sabine Hassenpfeffer, or whatever her name is, has taken what we observe always to occur is that if we ain't observing it, then maybe it doesn't always occur. Huh?
But we are observing it. I mean, not with our eyes, but we are breathing,
Neil?
aren't we?
Neil, think about what she's saying. Are we observing gas expand into the nothingness of the void of space?
No, because that's make believe. So she's in a belief system.
Right, but she thinks it's real. So the reason it's not doing that is because it's not observed. I kid you not. That's
Oh, she's an idiot. Gas just doesn't stop. And then there's outer space. That's ridiculous. They'll do anything to avoid the containment that we're in, won't they? They have to. What's up, Chocolate?
Yo, what on, people? It's
Oh,
Happy
I
Monday.
like this. I like this one. Those pesky wabbits. Now you can understand my walk joke. A walk is something you throw at a wabbit.
Yeah, that's how you feeling today.
Is it better than me talking about containment and how I don't see it? Because I heard that one the other day. Boy, was I a pain in the ass that day.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
I heard you say in the background, you're
fucking
one of those
Neil,
moods today, Neil. Huh?
you can hear me in the back. Like, is Neil's Tourette's acting up today? Like, what's going on with you?
No,
What the hell?
you said you're one of those moods, huh, Neil?
Yeah. That's all good. But then I was just like, wait a minute. This is the guy who's got a name for the fucking container. And he's in there asking, where's the container? Hilarious.
Well, because the way John was saying it, every demonstration we do here on Earth needs containment. Okay, fine, I can see that containment. So I have to be able to see the containment that we're in. Although I believe it's a dome, because I believe Scripture. Now I don't know where that is. I don't know if it's transparent. I don't know. Why is the sky blue?
you convoluted dome and container on purpose. I just heard you do it.
Yeah. It's got to be something strong. It's got to be a container. You don't hold milk or something in a weak container.
Hefty strong? Like, hefty.
Yeah, something like that. It's crazy because we don't know what the sky is. We have no clue.
It's amazing.
Well, if you could make a little drawing on a sheet of paper and then reify that into your reality, you can make up all kinds of cool stories about what the sky is.
Yeah, we come to the conclusion we don't like the terminology show anymore. It's not a show. This is an education channel.
Yeah, it's always been listed as education.
Yeah,
Who-
we don't
who
like the
don't-
terminology show.
It is a show. We
It's not a
don't like
show.
it.
It's a
show.
It's a lesson.
But it's educational in nature. The show, that is. You have to like it, Neil. It's a
Hello.
show. We're showing.
What show?
This show. This now is a show.
Oh. What the hell?
Yeah, I don't understand the argument of why it's not a show or why you don't like the term show. Like, what's the problem with show?
The only thing I show is show up to learn. And I've been learning since I've been here. So the word show is like, yeah, it's a show, but it's an educational show.
Yes, that's correct.
You just debunked your own argument.
It just seems like when you just say, is there going to be a show today? It's like, are we acting here?
Yes, we are. And we're classified as such by YouTube.
Then I'm going to have to turn my character up a little bit today.
Character's you, Neil, but when you're on a show, you become an actor. I become an actor. But nevertheless, you can be classified as a bad actor by YouTube standards.
Right. It's sort of like the idea of personage whenever you're talking about a legal sense, or, you know, it's just when you're talking about relaying information, your character in this.
Well, with this bad act, I'll have you know that in high school, I took TV production, and I happened to ace it. It's like the only class I did ace in high school because it was a great actor. I mean, I picked something I would be natural in, of course, but
Good thing I picked this because I hate public speaking. So that
If you watch
explains everything.
not only you, the world fears public speaking more than death. I learned that when I was preaching.
Bro, I don't even know what I was thinking coming on this thing. I was like, for some reason, I want to talk about this particular topic. But if anything else, I would have never done this. I don't like public speaking. I don't even like speaking. Like, people in my job, like, bro, speak. And then when I speak and start asking for curvature, they're like, all right. Go back to work.
Shut up already. Well, on my first sermon, I wrote word for word because I was petrified of speaking in front of people.
I had like an essay or something I had to write in like 7th grade, and it was so good that my school wanted me to read it on the PA in front of everybody, and I hated that.
Now I need
that
to
was-
know what this essay was about.
I couldn't even tell you.
Hold
I
on a
don't-
second. I had to do the same thing in speech class, and it was right around when John Lennon was assassinated. So I did it about that, and I had to read that in front of the auditorium.
What year was that? I don't have that offhand.
You don't know what year John Lennon was assassinated? Get out.
No, Nick, don't know.
Anyway,
1980.
if you listen to the behavioural panel, they'll assess people on their behaviour, but they will use similar terminology. So they'll say that's bad acting, or they'll say he or she is going through their script. Now that doesn't mean that they've got a physical script, but if someone was to say you go through the script of your intro, I go, that's correct, I have a scripted intro. Yeah? Now, has it ever been written down? No. Has it ever been formally decided to be in that order? No. Has it morphed over the course of several thousand shows into what it is now? Yes. But it's still pretty much the same thing, although it's altered over time. Therefore, it's my scripted introduction to the show. Now, beyond that scripted introduction, there are other scripts that I run. For instance, the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator is a scripted title for Earth curve calculator. Yeah, that's a script. Has it ever been written down? Well, yeah, maybe it has in comments. But you know what I'm getting at. It isn't actually scripted, but it is my scripted response when detailing what the curve calculator is, when I title it. Do you see what I'm saying? So actor, script, these terms are interchangeably, sociably for how people behave.
I got it. So like when I say, yeah, women, they all read from the same script.
Yes. That's a generalization and also quite misogynistic, but yes.
But they do. You know that's true.
Good morning.
Morning.
I've got your video up.
Morning, Tim.
Nice to be. Good morning.
By the way, I was there yesterday. I was fading in and out, but I was there. Very good.
I know. So I'm following my script. I'm providing the review videos.
It's good actor.
I don't know what I walked into, what you guys were talking about, but I had to write down what Nathan says
we're
because he says it
actors
so
in
fast.
Sorry, Tim.
That's right.
Nathan was just telling us that we're actors in the theater.
Oh, is there?
No.
Do we have any
Oh,
rights? Do we have a guild? Do we have a
We-
union? What's
Yeah,
going
we
on
do
here?
have a union.
We should
I'm-
start
I'm-
all that.
We do have a union, but what I was saying was
What?
we don't like the terminology show. It should be lesson.
Since when did we become
Oh.
unionized?
No. I responded to what they were saying. We're actors. And I said, oh, are we in the guild? Do we have a union? Do we have representation? You know, all that stuff. And so I'm just having fun here. Now I see what it's all about. So whether this is a show or a lesson.
Then they got rid of the guild, the Actors Guild. They kind of transitioned back when I was in training in college. And when I joined college from memory, there was the idea that you couldn't have two actors in the acting guild with the same name. So you end up with people giving themselves fairly mundane names, but they're not their names. It's just you had another actor with that name in the guild, so you couldn't. And then they changed that rule. So it was like, no, it didn't matter anymore. You could just be who you are. You could just become, your name, Nathan Oakley in my instance, which coincidentally has got two, like, think of a different example.
But don't they have the SAG?
Who's
Screen
the info?
Actors and Guild?
Who's the InfoWars guy? He had to fight this in
Oh,
court.
Info,
Alex
that's
Jones.
Alex Jones, right? He had to fight in court that he isn't Alex Jones. He's Alex Jones, not in the strawman sense of the, put your strawman on and pay your taxes, but in the sense that he has a persona. Now, I can define that with me, so it's less controversial, but he, from memory, had to fight in court that no, while you see me being very aggressive Alex Jones on the I was going to say on the television, but he's not, is he? On the YouTubes or
Podcast.
whatever, on the internets, whatever you call it. But that's not him. He's Alex Jones. Family man and all the rest of the things that you would sell yourself on being. And likewise, the persona of Nathan Oakley isn't necessarily the same as the, offline picking his nose and farting and doing normal stuff that, Nathan Oakley does, if you know what I mean. They're different people. Regardless of whether or not I'd like to say, no, they're as close as possible to each other as they possibly can be. But that is just the fact. 10th Man is a persona.
Yeah, well, 10th Man on the show is 10th Man, but in real life, I'm 10 and a half man. People know me that way.
But my point is that
So-
Neil Cosentino is a character and a real person, both at the same time. But just by virtue of being here, you have chosen to give yourself the same character name as you've given, or actor name, let's just say, as you've given yourself. I have chosen to do the same. Many do not.
Yeah,
I
like
have
Chocolate and 10th Man. Well, I'll figure out your name one day.
Says chocolate saying on my birth certificate. Thank you.
I know it doesn't take.
Were you born in Hershey, Pennsylvania?
Exactly.
That man, you at least got to give me a hint. What's the first letter in your name?
He's
T.
born in Bourneville.
T.
T. And I know where he's from, so I got to start looking up names from that area. Thaddeus.
Oh, T for 10.
Daddy.
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus Reximus.
Sounds like a.
I thought my
Runaway
Bourneville
Roman
joke
dog.
needed more recognition, but there we go.
So we got today's review on the scientific method. There were several that I saw, but yeah, we're going to have a blast with this one.
I'll get his link ready and stick it in the live stream chat. You guys get a subscription feed link to the live stream, by the way, when I published it this morning? Any of you seen it in your
Yeah, I
subscription?
did.
You did, good.
Is
Excellent.
it supposed to play like a short when you click that? Is that on purpose?
What?
Where-
A short,
that,
like when you
yeah,
hit it.
when-
Go on, Chocolate.
yeah, because when it popped up in my YouTube, I just clicked it and hit notify or whatever, and then all of a sudden the short with mathematician Matthew started playing. And I was just like, "What the hell is this? Was that you? Did you just set that up on purpose?"
Yes, it's called a trailer.
Okay. Well, this is fancy.
Yeah, you can put trailers on premiering streams and live streams so that you get a little taster of what the show might be.
Matthew Learns, I heard.
Yeah, it was Matthew Learn's clip.
Is this on you? Looking on YouTube, I can't find your show ready to go.
Shocking.
With
Quick update, Nate. Just
I
before you start, so I don't panic you. I'm just speaking to my computer guys, who's slightly excited about rebuilding that heap of dunker. But I've asked him to get a decent PC set up so that you can at least run the show when the computer disappears to go to the doctor.
Oh, that's not necessary. I think we're at the end of the road in terms of this hardware being sorted, though, Adam.
Your call.
I'm being serious. I think it's hardware sorted. I've just got software issues now. So what I really need is either somebody on a technical help desk can talk me through it, or somebody local I can go down to and say, can you sit in front of this computer for a couple of hours and figure out why it crashes when it's in vertical orientation? Because that's all that's wrong with it. Because other than the inconvenience of sitting in a very awkward position, you can probably hear me shifting in my chair. It's because the monitor's right on top of me. Well, I need to resolve that issue. But other than that, everything else is fine now.
So you could have a remote dial-in.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll mention that. I've got to speak to him this afternoon.
That sounds... I love it. Like some Indian hacking centre. Marvellous. Yes, that would be what I would need. Somebody who can get remote access to my computer and have a little look, because it's not at the BIOS level. So it's someone can look at remotely in Windows and figure out what's going on if they know what they're doing.
Cool.
But, you know, I
He's
get
got
the
to
sense...
dial into my computer here this afternoon because I was trying to boost my Wi-Fi and ended up losing my Wi-Fi. I don't know why. I'm not good with computers. Just leave them alone.
Yes, that sounds familiar.
But he's going to dial in here, so I could ask him to do the same thing, and then I'll have a little look for you.
Well, I had the computer guy over, and although he didn't give it a great deal of his attention, because I don't think it's his thing, if you know what I mean, figuring out why a monitor's not orientating itself correctly. You know, that's not really his bag. But he did have a look at it, and I asked him, you know, if you were coming to this fresh, because by then I was 3 days deep into it trying to figure out the problem. I was like, what would you have done? So he went through all of the things that he would have done. He was like, I'd turn this game bar off. I'd have, you know, turned all the overclocking settings off. I'd have done this, I'd have done that. And he just went through a whole bunch of things. And I was like, I've done every single one of those. I was like, good. You know, in a way, it makes me feel a bit more confident that, you know, in trying to address this problem, I've gone through all the steps that at least he would have done. And he runs a computer shop, so he's going to know at least what he would have done is good if that's what I have already done, if you know what I mean. So it's reached the point where I'm like, I've reached the point of my expertise, I've reached the point of his expertise, he's even had a look at it. Now I need somebody who's, more, Windows, I don't know what to call it, software, firmware, what to call it, I don't know.
Right. Well, if you send me just one of your geeky rundowns of what you think the issue is, I'll forward it on to Cole.
I can summarise it in one sentence if you want to write it down now. Do you want it summarised in one sentence?
Well, I should be able to remember it if it's one sentence. Go on.
Yeah. Computer crashes if monitor is vertical. That's it.
So set to portrait, it goes.
It crashes in portrait. It does not crash in landscape. That is it.
Cool. Well, that's it. I can remember that, even my computer knowledge. Cool. All right, leave it with me and I'll have a word with him and then
Perfect.
see if the dialing seems the most appropriate, doesn't it?
While I was tearing my hair out yesterday, my wife was like, no, I did actually fire off an email to one of the guys in LEM that's I don't know who it was, she didn't actually explain, but somebody technical and computer orientated, I assume. But the way she was like, I was like, well, what did you tell him? She was like, well, your Fortnite game's crashing. I'm like, no. the computer guy, Craig, got it. He was like, it's your canary, right? And I was like, exactly. It's there to die, to fall over so that the computer doesn't fall over when I'm doing something critical like a show. So it's not that, as my wife put it to the tech guy she's contacted, my Fortnite game's crashing, because that sounds very different to the computer potentially can fall over if the monitor's orientated in a certain fashion to varying extents. Either it can crash the software that's being used, in this case a game, or the streaming software, more importantly, that's broadcasting the game, more importantly my show. The game's only there to test stability. And then more importantly than that, it can take the entire computer with it. It can take the entire system down and black or blue screen. So it's I know there's a critical error with this computer that's not being solved with Windows reinstalls. So as boring as this is 2 minutes before we start a live show, I need to get it out of my system now in the pre-show. But it needs looking at. I'm confident now, having tested it for 3 days, that this show's not going to fall over. I'm just going to be cramped, and the kids are going to poke their eyes out on the corner of a monitor at some point, or it'll get broken. But other than those problems, which I can just about work around temporarily, it just, like I say, it just needs someone to look at what's wrong with Windows and why it's not working correctly when you flip a particular monitor orientation. But there we go.
Well, you can relate this back to flat Earth, because if you can get to the software problems with this, maybe we can figure out the software problems with anti-flat earthers.
Maybe that's a nice little segue, but it does relate to flat Earth in the respect that
check their hardware. So
it relates to flat Earth in the respect that I've been consumed with this computer for 10 straight months, and the show has suffered. My attention is not 100% on the show; it's 100% on the computer, or has been. Now we're finally at the end of the tunnel where the hardware's all sorted, and I've just got some minor issues that would be akin to if any Joe Normie just went out and bought a new computer, they might come up with something similar to this issue with a brand spanking new computer. So from that point of view, I'm like, well, at least the computer's bloody working, the hardware's nice, it's running cool, it's not overheating, it's not unstable. Good. Yeah, it completely shits the bed if it's got a vertical orientation of the monitor. But aside from that, everything's cushy. Anyway, let's do a live show.
hello. Good afternoon.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, welcome one and all. Don't shoot the messenger, says Second with a super chat. Thank you very much for the early support. Really appreciate it. Please share the show, as I said already in the intro. It'd be good to get it to 100 people straight off the bat after a bit of a short break or not doing a Friday show. So yeah, please share the show. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge that's a horizon formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
It's underneath the horizon.
There should be evidence, but they say you never see it, so it only exists in the mind of a person. It doesn't exist in reality. I mean, if the Earth had curvature, at some point it's going to show curvature.
It's below surface level in Muppet vision.
Right. It's underneath the horizon, below surface level.
Yeah, but the horizon in the surface level Muppet vision maths, begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking, Earth curve mathematics, is Muppet vision. So when you say surface level and the horizon they label with an X and call the horizon is below the horizon, then that doesn't make sense because they don't label a horizon on the surface level. It's just labelled with a horizontal line denoted surface level. And then the correctly identified by you Earth curve marked with an X horizon is below surface level, as John would frequently point out. But that's not the horizon below the horizon. But I like your quip.
But that's not even true, because if you're at sea at any time, you never see that Muppet vision. You're just looking forward or backward or sideways, and it's all flat. You never see what that Muppet vision is showing where that X is.
Right, that's the horizon you can't see.
No, you see the only horizon there is.
Right. And you can't see the geometric horizon.
Correct. So the horizon marked with an X labelled horizon in the Begging the Question Proof of Nothing Perspective Hijacking Earth Curve Calculator is the geometric horizon that we cannot see.
Right, but what I do see, which is not real, because clouds aren't actually touching the ocean. But I do see that at the end of the viewing that I'm having on the boat if I look forward. So there's no curvature to the clouds. It's perspective and the convergence.
Was that a script?
Not that we need to explain this. Why would we need to explain this? If there's a claim that
I'm
there's
not-
Earth curve, then we need to see Earth curve. As for what we say the horizon is, who cares? Does it matter?
Well,
Well,
it does. Go on, John.
I was going to say, well, what they say the horizon is only calculable with two flat planes and a differential in height. So I don't think it really matters what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
they said there's evidence of Earth curves,
Pers-
and the evidence is that buildings disappear on the bottom up, and boats disappear bottom up.
Right. So a physical geometric sphere edge obstruction that they call the horizon. Meanwhile, as John is pointing out, to get to that assertion, you need the differential between eye level and surface level. And the calculation we fondly refer to as the Begging the Question Proof of Nothing Perspective Hijacking Earth Curve Calculator is said differential calculation. Therefore, the geometric horizon only exists in Muppet Vision side profile, where you're looking at the side of your own head and the target, and the Earth curve claimed to be obstruction below surface level all at the same time.
Alrighty then.
It's quite elusive, this Earth curve. It's very hard to actually find it.
It doesn't exist beyond the maths.
Who wouldn't expect to see it, Arwen?
Nobody's expecting to see geometric Earth curve. Nobody.
I don't know if it exists in the maths either. I'm still yet to be convinced, but we can argue that later, I guess.
Well, there's no arguing with your. Hold on.
Inception.
The clue is in the
It's
title. Hold on.
Math.
The clue is in the title. The clue is in the title of the math. First and foremost, Earth curve calculator, and it's marked with an X and labelled horizon in said mathematics. So while you say you're struggling to believe that it exists in the maths, yes, the calculations are differentials between eye level and surface level, and yes, you then have a tangent to a sphere Earth radius 3959 by way of presupposition that has said tangent point marked with an X labelled horizon. So why would you doubt that it exists in the maths when it's right there for you to see?
Well, I think it's a misinterpretation of the mathematics. Just like if I say a square is the same thing as a rectangle, I can make all kinds of correlations, but that doesn't mean that's true in the math.
I would say John's sort of right, because as a conception in the maps, it's supposed to exist, but even calling it that name, geometric horizon, that asserts that there's some sort of physicality to it. And first of all, that's math, so there's no physicality. And second of all, that physicality doesn't exist in reality.
Speaking of
Which is
reality,
why
then,
Does physicality resist in a real mountain or a hill?
well, there isn't, like a real hill, but in reality, you can establish a horizontal baseline by utilising the horizon, as is done in this diagram on screen now. So I may as well ask that question to follow up with. Is there any evidence that you can acquire an elevation angle measurement, like the one on screen, from a curved baseline? That would be a curved Earth instead of a flat Earth as depicted on screen.
If we did, then we would have Globers actually tell us that. Instead, they keep telling us how flat the baseline is that's supposed to be used for this. So yeah, I guess not.
But Jaren says it's possible.
Wait, Jaren's a flat earther.
That just, I don't even know what that does to my point, but that's just ridiculous. So the Globers tell us how flat it is, but flat, quote unquote flat earther is saying that you could use a curved baseline. That's cute.
I've actually got a clip. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't
Go
hear.
for it.
I'll just repeat that. Parallax measurements require Earth to be flat. 50.
What?
So this uses flat baselines.
Yes. Yes. That's what I was wondering.
I've been trying to say it too, but
I want to hear from 50.
highlight something.
I want to hear. That was it. Maybe you didn't hear. I'll just repeat that. Parallax measurements require Earth to be flat. 50.
What?
What?
The same guy who said that the observer was on the sun.
Someone
But the
mentioned in the
funniest
pre-show.
part of that is that when Nathan's asking that question, he's asking, well, where's the right triangle? Where's the 90? Right? And he's like, because that would make it flat. But he just laughed at the concept that it would be flat. This guy,
Later in the same video,
Jeez.
I point out that you'd need a flat baseline for the angle. And he's like, well, then we'll acquire a flat baseline then. I'm like, yeah, you will.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
The minute that Chocolate said you have to subtract from 90, it's over. I mean,
When you got a leak, well, you got a leak.
A bit more of that. Might as well. I'm going to release this in a couple of days. This would, as you mentioned it in the pre-show about ads before the live show, the intention for this video, it's the right length to become a trailer for something like the live show or the premiering streams that go out on the main channel. So you can have another little snip. You'll get more familiar with it as it gets strapped onto the live show as the new trailer. Down.
The Earth is a globe.
According to
Epic.
the citation I've just had,
You want some evidence for that?
reading what it says about
All right.
parallax.
I've also got.
Of displacement of an object caused by the change of the observer's point of view. In astronomy, it is an irreplaceable tool for calculating distance of faraway stars. Parallax enables astronomers to measure the distances to faraway stars by using trigonometry. So this uses flat baselines.
Yes. Yes. That's what I was wondering.
I've been trying to say it too, but
I want to hear from 50.
highlight something.
I want to hear from 50. Everybody else, please be quiet. Maybe you didn't hear. I'll just repeat that. Parallax measurements require Earth to be flat. 50.
What?
On screen now for my audience, it's an angle measurement, 50. Therefore, you would require a flat baseline for it to be called an angle.
Okay, we'll establish the flat baseline.
So Earth is flat. There you go. Well,
thank
that's the
you
main
for your
bit I wanted
time.
you to hear. We will just establish a horizontal baseline. Yep, indeed, Nathan from the past. Just what I was about to
we'll
say.
Just establish a flat baseline.
Yeah, we will.
Okay, 50.
When I heard that,
buddy.
two things went through my mind. I hate to bring it back, and as much as I say, I never think people like Dell or Toon or any of those idiots a second thought. Actually, Dell's probably not the best one to put in those categories because he's actually a flat earther as well. But I don't know, Toon or Simon Dan, I don't lose sleep over them or give them any thought after they've done something, even if they've made a video specifically about me. In many instances, it takes me a while to actually get around to watching them, if at all. But when it's someone like Jaren, it does get into your skin a lot more. You take it a lot more personally because they're, seemingly on your side and should be bolstering you. So it leaves a bit more of a bitter taste in your mouth, let's just say. So it does, you do dwell on it, or at least I do. I'm trying to be honest here. But when I heard that from 50, that's what went through my mind immediately. Two things. First, there's that concession that Jaren says he fails to get from Ballers. Yeah, we'll be measuring a flat baseline then. Yeah, there's his concession. He's conceding that in order to do this, it doesn't matter whether he's a baller or not, flatline is needed. He's going to get one on Earth. Flat. He's a baller. I don't know what else you're going to need. But second thing is that this is being decried, in respect to elevation angles. It's the same thing. It's just an elevation angle measurement, but with a different title. It doesn't matter that it's parallax angle. It's just an angle from a baseline. An angle measurement off Earth, practically applied to their ball model after measuring it flat. Now, a few people in the comments were like, no, there are balls in the model. I'm like, you don't think we're all aware? It was even pointed out at one stage by 10th. They're utilising the celestial sphere. So therefore, they're using a flat plane in hell. They're still using a flat plane, though. It doesn't matter which way they want to dice it. So that's our proof. Earth has to be measured flat to do these angles. So to hear them decried by our own side, to hear that you can get angles from curves, if it's a minimal angle, it's like, no, quantitatively, you can't ever. It's never going to be capable of qualification as an angle if it's off a curve. Doesn't matter how small it is. But that fact means that when your angle measurement comes from Earth, it's flat. It's a stone-cold proof that we should all be behind, regardless of any differences that we have in this arena. That's flat Earth. Now, it's easy to then go, and if you're not, you're a shill. No. But if you're watching this show, and you're like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, this is important. I'm a flat earther. I want to be able to prove Earth's flat to next man when I'm put on the spot and called an idiot. I want to be able to pull something out of my back pocket that slaps down that fundamentalist religious ball-believing idiot when they tell me I'm stupid. And I show them how Earth's measured flat and navigated flat and how it saved lives. And in this instance, the ball believers require it to be flat to make their assertion a parallax. So this is powerful stuff that you need to write down if you haven't got it already. Get a pen. Last one. Any scientific evidence of gravity? Also, welcome Henrik to Penguin.
Which gravity are we talking about? The bending of space-time or mass attracting mass?
Not my
because
claim.
There are more than two. But
Not
I'll
my
just
claim.
bring up those two.
Whichever you like. It's not my claim.
What you got to deal with gravity is the indoctrination from birth with that word and the associations made to it with it through the movies. And so now when you're talking to someone and they say gravity, we know what they mean. And we say, really? What happened 107 years ago? Because that changed what you just said to me. They go, no, what happened 107 years ago? I go, Einstein said it's not a force and debunked it. And now it's a conceptual math issue. It's a 4D space-time. It doesn't even exist. It only exists in the calculation because it never existed in reality. And they go crazy.
So that's why when he debunked that, we didn't all fall off the earth because gravity was no longer keeping us on the earth.
Well, it never did. It never existed. And because they couldn't prove it, they needed to take it into the math world and make it a calculation now. So this way you can never prove it. It only exists in the calculation. And you hear these guys and gals that we do the review videos, these astrophysicists, they're always talking about, well, we did the equations. Okay, what does that prove? Well, we want gravity to be real, so we did equations and it works out in the equation, so it's real. No, it's not real in an equation if it's not real in reality.
So are they going to get rid of this gravity now too with quantum mechanics?
Yeah, what's there to get rid of, Neil?
This baloney that the bending of space-time is anything at all.
Quantum gravity.
It's a mathematical construct of imagination with absolutely no experimental validation.
Huh.
And now, actually, surprisingly, there's a word from our sponsor. Are you tired of nicks and cuts while shaving? Try our quantum foam for the best shave ever.
Now they're really going to think it's a show.
Oh, gosh.
Right, we'll ask one more, although the last one was one more. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No.
Wow, that was quick.
Okay, I don't mind if it's a quick one.
I have one.
Oh, go on, AI.
If astrophysics department, then funding.
True today, might not be true tomorrow.
That's pretty good, actually.
It's an
All
if and
hard
then
cash
statement.
is physical.
True enough. Right, we've got a
Well,
video today.
let me comment. Hang on. Let me comment on this. So, astrophysicists, the what the physical, which they can't go to, the stars, the space they say it is, and they just look through a telescope, and then it's got to match all of the other garbage like gravity and the sphere Earth and spinning, and they just do equations. They never actually handle anything physical.
Well, we
So that's a
assume
bad name.
you've got to make a certain assumption about the stuff in the sky that it's not physical, but I wouldn't even go as far as to make that assertion. You don't know either way. They're asserting it is, therefore it's their burden to prove that they are dealing with the physical when they reify their mathematics in fourth dimensions. It isn't. We can take apart their mathematical reifications from the fourth dimension that they've invented. So they can't, but they do assume that they are dealing with the physical when they're describing it to us. It's just their burden.
No, it is their burden, and that's my whole point. So it's their burden to prove it, but they've never been able to put their fingertips on any of it, so it's all in the math, as Chocolate
I don't disagree. My critique was of you, to say that you overtly state that it's non-physical. Okay, outside the purview of physics? Well, I wouldn't be so bold, is what I'm saying. Why is
I
there a
didn't say
bling
it was
blong, by the way?
non-physical. I'm saying...
Just one sec.
I didn't say
Just one sec. Can anyone else hear that bling blong? What is that noise? Irritating, whatever it is. Can you all hear that?
No. Negative.
Okay.
No. Yeah, but I didn't say what you said I said.
That's what I said.
No,
Okay, let's move
you
on.
said it. You said it's not physics.
No, I said, I'm asking a question. Physics. How many physics departments are there, and what do they deal in? So we got astrophysics. Okay. So what does that mean in its rudimentary, fundamental way? What are they actually doing in their astrophysics? All they're doing is looking through a telescope.
Daring and declaring.
Alrighty then. Let's get on to this video. Thank you, AI.
Yeah.
This is called...
Fun.
No, not this, because this is my video. This is called The Scientific Method and Theories versus Laws. All right, this is right up our street. It's only a smaller YouTuber as well. Right, give this dude some love. So I did actually already put his link into the live stream chat in case you were wondering what that was right at the top of the feed. But here it is again. So let this person know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And just let him know we've left him a little response to his video.
Good
I think
morning.
it's the sound
Good morning,
effects
guys.
from. I think it's the sound effects from Discord. So I'll have to go in and change that so it's not giving me notifications when people are coming off and on mute and things. Okay. Anyway, I'll address that some of the time. Not of high priority at the moment, as we've got a video to cover. So we're going to get right into this. As I say, let me know that Nathan Oakley 1980 or at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me.
In this lesson, we're learning about the scientific method.
Jolly good.
The scientific method is how we know what we know in science. It's a systematic method for observing and then testing those observations in a systematic and scientific way. Let's take a look at the main steps in the scientific method. First of all,
okay, I don't know if this is something we're going to agree or disagree with, so this is going to be interesting. Let's get a little vote. Got how many people watching? 75 people watching. Yeah, not bad. How long have we been going? 20 minutes? There or thereabouts? Let us know from the chat while we talk amongst ourselves. With a number 1, if you think this guy, Jeremy Krug, my bad, is going to be in agreement with us and lay out the scientific method as is, or is he going to incorporate, with the number 2, if you believe this is the case, some weaselly words so it's just so stories can be called science. So number 1, if you think he's just going to straight up give you cause and effect reasoning, systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis with independent and dependent variable after observing phenomena, that would be a number 1. Or if you think he's going to weasel in his nonsense so he can have his just so stories about what lights in the sky are and then call them science. For example, it might not be lights in the sky, but just as an example. So far, everyone's thinking that this is going to be a weaselly video. We'll see what Ted's got on the agenda.
He's going to start with ask a question.
Say again, Chocolate?
You might even start it off with ask a question as the first step.
Well, that's why I paused it so early. because that gives the game away immediately. And I'm cold to this video, as are you, right? Chocolate, you don't know who this guy is, right?
Yeah, I have no idea. I
Right.
haven't heard this.
But I sniffed out that. It might not be. We'll see. And Tenth's not. He's keeping stum at the moment, so we'll get a few more votes from the chat. There's a couple of people saying one.
He did say, though, science is the way we know scientific things by testing them in a scientific way. That sounds silly.
In a scientific way, did sound silly. I almost commented on it. Maybe that was giving the game away. We will see. Okay, I think the vote's in, right? Everyone thinks this is going to be Weasley. Is it appropriate for you to tell us in advance, Tenth, or should I just play our way through?
I'll say 1.5.
Oh, Tenth is the one who's provided this video, so it says 1.5. Okay, let's have a watch.
We are always going to make an observation. And so we observe. And so as an example, an observation might be something as simple as you go out to your car one morning and notice that it doesn't start.
Total fail immediately. No, if you're observing something and qualifying it as science, even if you're giving it in an example, I would prefer, although this is early doors, that you describe it completely, which is to say you observe something occurring in nature. That would be observe natural phenomena. So observe is an incomplete statement, because I can observe that I've got a table, and there's going to be no scientific way of sciencing the cause of that effect, because it isn't one, and it's not natural. It's man-made. So not only is it not naturally occurring, it's not a natural item. So it falls short of the scientific method, because it's not observing a natural phenomenon if you just say observe. So that's my first critique straight off the bat.
That's just a simple observation.
Go on.
Everything comes from the earth, so how can it not be nature? Right? No matter what you make a table with, it comes from the earth.
So you're going to do the science of barbecue grills.
Yeah, but he's already peppering in the okie doke factor, right? He's already conflating natural science with, oh, my car doesn't start, so I could science the shit out of that.
It's technology.
And that's the okie doke. That's how I know, but that's the point. That's how they get people. That's why I call it the okie doke factor.
Yeah, it's stolen valor. So what they with this, as Chocolate has just discussed it, is the stolen valor element of how we get duped with science. Imagine at the extreme the advert for Timotei. Now comes the science part. No, it doesn't. That's not science. Science is the natural observed phenomena followed by a presumed or assumed cause of the effect you're studying, followed by the variation of said presumed cause to see if it induces the effect. That's called an experiment, and the basis of the experiment was the independent and dependent variable. Dependent being the natural phenomena, independent being that which you varied. That is a hypothesis, and it followed observing something occurring in nature that you wanted to know the cause of.
It doesn't have to be something in the laboratory necessarily. The scientific method is a way that we solve problems.
No, it's the way you establish or elucidate the cause of a naturally occurring phenomena.
And here you have a problem. Your car doesn't start.
That's a technology problem. You need a garage, not a scientist.
And so that's a simple observation, but it doesn't stop there. The second...
It's an observation that would be better served in front of a mechanic, not somebody trying to establish cause and effect reasoning based on naturally occurring phenomena. That would be a scientist.
Step in the scientific method is we make a hypothesis. And a hypothesis is a possible explanation of observations that we make in the natural world.
That's a lot more like it. A possible explanation of observations we make in the natural world. Now, the observation, it sounds from your phraseology, it's just the observation that needs to take place in the natural world, when in reality it's the observation of a phenomena that is natural. So, a little bit Weasley, but we're getting closer. That's definitely better. It's at least got the word natural in it, which excludes your car example.
Sometimes it's called an educated guess. And
the educated guess being the independent variable, that which you will vary to see if it does cause the effect after you've guessed that it would. You then vary it and see if it will or not. But the independent variable, that's your best guess. Yes, correct.
So, for example, a hypothesis in our situation where the car doesn't start might be something as simple as saying,
I need a mechanic, or I need to learn how my car works so I can fix it.
well, perhaps there's something wrong with the battery. And so that's just a
That's
possible
called
explanation.
troubleshooting.
Yes, troubleshooting, correct.
Sometimes in science, these hypotheses will take the form of an if-then statement.
Yeah, if independent variable, then dependent variable. If I vary that which I assume will cause the effect, then it will cause the effect I'm studying. In other words, you're trying to induce the effect you studied in nature or observed to occur. You're trying to make it occur by varying what you assume will cause it.
If this is happening, then this is the explanation.
No, if I vary A, then B will occur. Alternative hypothesis would be that statement with an if and then supposition of cause and a natural phenomena. Also backed up in a true hypothesis with something called a null hypothesis, the antithesis of the prediction. If I vary A, B will not happen. This is a crucial element to a hypothesis, because if you vary that which you assume causes the effect and it doesn't, you prove you're null. However, if you vary and it does cause the effect, then you prove your alternative. Hence, the outcome is empirically validatable, regardless of outcome. You will either prove it causes it or prove it doesn't.
You know, that can be the form of your hypothesis. In the everyday world, it might not be in that format. The next thing that we do after we make that hypothesis is we test it. And we test that hypothesis using an experiment. And so in the everyday world, performing an experiment might be something as simple as just looking around and seeing what's going on.
Wrong. Variation of that which you assume will cause the effect you are studying in nature, that would be an independent variation of your presumed cause, otherwise known as varying an independent variable. That is what is an experiment. The outcome is whether or not the phenomena you are trying to induce is induced or not. Success is if you induce it. Failure isn't an option in science, because if you don't induce it, you prove you're null. Go ahead, whoever that was.
Okay, so according to this guy, anybody that goes somewhere and just starts looking around is performing experiments. Like, that's just a funny way to put it, bro. I gotta say.
That's Jose G. Gonzalez. That's his attitude.
It's, as Tenth said, it's 1.5. He's utilising the method so he can sound reasonably educated and correct, and he is. But he's peppering in enough nonsense so that you take the equivocation fallacy, or the is it it's not equivocation. What is it when you have an incomplete part of a full statement and then use the part as though it's true of the whole? I can't remember the name of that fallacy. It'll come to me. Anyway.
Part of the whole fallacy.
In the science laboratory, it might be something much more complicated than that we have to actually test and write out a procedure and carry out that procedure and then record some data and find out if our hypothesis is right or not. In the case of our car being broken down, if we think there's something wrong with the battery, well, we can carry out the experiment. Just check the battery and see if there's something wrong with it.
Chocolate's already called this. That's troubleshooting. That's not an experiment.
Yeah. It's this constant equivocation fallacy he's doing with the car. I'm not sure. He's explaining things nice and then kind of diluting or kind of missing the point of what he's just explained an experiment is and a hypothesis by then going to this car, which, as Chocolate said, is just a technology issue. Yeah, is your battery plugged in? Well, that's nothing to do with science, is it? It's to do with just maintenance of your car. That's why he's doing that. I don't know. Is that so he can bung anything into a hypothesis later, as he's doing now? So this seems to be the switcheroo. This going towards being able to do anything, whether it's in the stated natural world, but he's using something that's not from the natural world to try and elucidate a cause.
Yes, I think that's exactly what it is, which is why now you can have the word science and everything from cat food commercials to shampoo to everything possible. Like there are commercials that literally say science did that. It's a cat food commercial.
When we were kids, it was science and technology, and you understood the difference. As kids, you were taught the difference. Yeah, this seems to be kind of conflating the two for confusion.
Nah,
He's now trying to merge the two back together.
Those two have been conflated. As far as just real life testimony with people I've spoken to, like people do that a lot, conflate technology and science. Like I've had arguments with people at my job trying to differentiate science and technology. And some people swear that it's the same thing. There's absolutely no difference. Disregarding that they're two different words from the first off, but it doesn't get any more basic than that.
The battery and find that there's nothing wrong with the battery. So what do you have to do in that case? Well, sometimes if your experiment does not support the hypothesis, you have to be willing to change the hypothesis. And so you may have to go back up here and come up with a...
No, again, that's not strictly true. So once you experiment, you vary that which you assume causes the effect. If it, as he puts it, fails, I said earlier, failure is not an option. The outcome is always going to be a positive result one way or the other. So if you don't induce the outcome, you put a tick that's confirmed next to the null hypothesis. If A, not B. So you're studying something that occurs in nature. You see a explosion that occurs at ground level and go, what the hell is causing that to occur? And you go, I think it's the acid level in the soil. So then you go and form your hypothesis. If acid content, then ground level explosions. Yeah? You also have the null. If acid content, that's your independent variable, that which you will vary to try and induce the effect, then not ground level explosions. So then you get some soil, add some acid, and nothing explodes. So you confirm your null hypothesis. Now, it's important to remember that you're not attempting to confirm the null. That's not the outcome you're desiring. You're trying to induce the effect. So you don't directly test the null. You're not trying to not cause it. But if that is the outcome, it doesn't cause the effect. You get a zero difference result, no difference, null. Then you affirm, tick, your null. Now, at that point, it's not that you need to alter the hypothesis. That experiment has been concluded successfully. And you learned something. You learned it wasn't that was causing your effect that you were studying. Well, you have learned something and confirmed something as true at the end of the process. Now it's time for a new hypothesis, not a variation of the old one that's now complete. So, at the risk of sounding pedantic, he is incorrect. Because there's no variation to a complete hypothesis. There's just a new establishment of a new hypothesis with a new independent variable to see if you can attempt to cause the effect that you were studying in the first instance, that which you observed occurring in nature.
The different hypothesis. Our battery's okay. Maybe our new hypothesis is we're out of gas. And so...
I know what's wrong with it. Ain't got no gas in it.
You can test that experiment test that hypothesis using an experiment.
This is very redneck and wrong.
So you check the gas gauge.
Here picturing somebody
check the gas. Check the tires.
I'm sitting picturing somebody in their car like, wait a minute, my hypothesis is I ran out of gas.
Brenda, I just did an experiment on the guitar carrying ute. Let's go down, play some banjo. There was no gas in it. I experimented and found that out.
And you find maybe that your gas tank is empty. And so,
Genius. Science.
So your experiment can either support the hypothesis or not, and you can change the hypothesis.
No, that's wrong. It can only support one or other, alternative or null. Support in both instances. Yeah? Now you cross out the other at that point. So you put a line through if acid, then ground explosions. Yeah? That wasn't confirmed, so you put a line through it. But you still tick, there was still a success. Now, if you do affirm that which you assumed would cause the effect, you still put a tick and cross the null in that example out also. So in both instances, you're going to be crossing one out and putting a tick next to the other. Yeah? But that's success regardless in both instances. Shout out to Jardo. Yep. He says, mechanics are now the new scientists. As an electrician who problem solves every day, I can now attach scientist to my business card. I entirely agree, Jardo. You are the science of electricity, my friend. You name yourself a scientist if you want to, Jardo. Based on the standards put here, I don't agree with that at all. No, he's not. But thanks for the super chat.
Hypothesis as needed. Well, eventually, you may be able to come up with a theory.
Yes.
Yeah, at least gave Jardo a plug.
And a theory is basically a hypothesis that has significant experimental evidence to support it, especially over a long period of time.
Yeah, you see, what is that blinking sound? What is that bloody noise? That is so irritating. I'm sure it's going through on the recording as well, because I can see it going on the output line. Anyway, I'll figure that out some other time. It's just distracting. Where was I? A theory comes off the back of significant scientific validation. Yeah, that's to say that you've confirmed your alternative hypothesis, and therefore you can form theory. Yeah. I see what you mean with 1.5 tenth, right? He's got enough in there that we would back. In other words, almost everything we would say is in there somewhere, right? But with enough peppering.
You saw or you heard Chocolate say, I bet he's going to start with, and this guy didn't. He actually has it nicely labeled, but then he takes it so far away from what its actual purpose is.
It's as people join, it gives me a bing bong to let me know that people are joining the Discord server. Right, I'm going to figure that out. Right, any chance you can talk amongst yourselves, because that is so distracting to me. I do actually want to try and resolve it right away.
Yeah. So Chocolate.
Yo-yo.
Yo-yo. You always got a yo-yo when I call you. I don't know how that always works out. Maybe I could do an experiment. So the other.
I mean, are you standing around somewhere looking at stuff?
Well, I'm just wanting to pull you on what you and I have seen a lot, which is ask a question, right? That's how most of them start. This guy didn't start that way.
Yeah, he didn't. Which I was kind of like, all right, that's what's up. And then he went straight to, oh, but your car engine. It's like, ew. Like, you had it. You were almost there, but not really.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You'll be very
up,
pleased to know I've disabled all notification sounds, Zeros. I know you were very concerned about it.
Oh,
now we have to be careful about when we say.
Go on.
I wanted to say this about this thing. Maybe remember when 10th, I think it was 10th, either John was mentioning that science is supposed to be denoted, or the etymological definition meaning to know or knowledge. Maybe people are convoluting and conflating technology and, making a new type of skincare thing with science, because they're thinking in that aspect to know means by doing these different things through chemistry and whatever, and they come up with these new things in technology that they think that means expanding knowledge.
No. Huh? Yes. Yeah. If you just used it as you've just used it and just said, well, therefore my Timotei commercial is correct, based on the fact that the etymological definition of the word science is to know, therefore I know your hair's shinier, therefore I can call it science, that would be to commit, you were pretty close when you said etymology. It's an etymological fallacy to do that. However, there is an exception to that, which Adam has gone through a couple of times with us before, which is to say that if you are to write the book on bird breeding, and anybody who's a long-term follower will know why I use that specifically as the example, but that would be the science, the knowledge of bird breeding, and contextually correct currently, not an etymological fallacy, not just the old meaning.
But when you use it, it does not invoke any methodology. It doesn't invoke a hypothesis. It's literally a statement which describes the bound containment of all the knowledge of that topic, whether that be science or not involved in it. When it says the science of, it doesn't mean we're following the method. It literally just means, as you described, the sum of the knowledge.
Right, but you should use the word study, because study seems a more practical use there, like the study of bird breeding.
I agree.
Yeah, but no, because that definition has been used for hundreds of years without the need to re-clarify it. Anybody who's in the field understands it, understands the implication. There's no hijacking of the valor there. It's got its own definition. It has to have certain conditions, i.e. be within a containment of all the knowledge and in a book. It's what it means. Now, there's no stealing of the term scientific method and any credibility that method gives with that. It literally is use of the English language historically.
Correct. So
you should be able to cope with that.
The hijacking comes when there is a cause and effect assertion being utilised and the word science alongside it without the scientific method, because that also has a definition. That's pseudoscience. Oh, check it out. Just a cheap shout out to Chocolate with the free membership shout out via a super chat from Godzilla, followed up with another, and I quote, and a more expensive one for Neil. Super chat that actually costs Godzilla money beyond his free super chat that he had to pay money for because he's a member. So they both cost you money. But yeah, technically speaking, the one for Neil did kind of cost you more. So Neil's better, I guess. Kinda. Thank you for the super chats.
Shout out to you, Gord. Appreciate it.
Meanwhile, 10th didn't get any shout out. So, I mean, that's also a thing. Anyway, 88 people watching. Please share the show. Very warm welcome to all of you who've just joined us. Hopefully you're enjoying the live stream. Live show, right, Neil? Please share the show if you've not done so already. The chances are you're only here because you've smashed this link that's come from somebody who's actually given it to you, because it won't be YouTube that's sharing this show in their algorithmic non-love and flat earthers and redirecting that love to the anti-flat earthers that we compete with. So I really appreciate all the people who are here currently. But share the show if you haven't done so already.
But that's the point. Look, this is a lesson right now. It's beyond the show.
In science, because sometimes people say, well, it's just a theory. Well, that's not really how it works.
No, in science, the theory has been backed up by scientific validity that was empirical.
Most theories have significant experimental evidence backing them.
Yeah, so empirical evidence backing them. Yeah? Like tick, always a tick.
It's like he's trying to distinguish between a theory, a colloquial theory, and a scientific theory, but he's not saying it. It's like on the back of his tongue, but he's just not getting it out.
The lines are blurrier though, aren't they? You know, it's like experiment is more contextual in this arena because we're talking about the natural world. So contextually, it automatically becomes natural science when you say experiment. However, there's still a little bit of Weasley room. You know, I was riding my bike up and down the humps at the local track and I was experimenting with using my foot as a brake. That is still contextually okay because you're not talking about the natural world per se when you're talking about riding on a BMX and experimenting with various braking techniques. That's okay to say. But when it comes to theory, yeah, you can all understand if you're a follower, I've got a theory, but it's just a theory. A film theory. Yeah, well, in our colloquial language, when we say we've got an idea about how something may have happened, we can colloquially describe that as a theory. My point being that verbally has much more scope to blur the lines for him than experiment does because of the context of our arena that we're in for how we discuss the nature of Earth. Therefore, automatically, experiment is going to mean a specific thing. Theory, like I say, he's got a little bit more, well, a lot more weasel room with that word. Would you not agree?
Yeah, that's why I like. Maybe it's just a personal thing because of where we are and what we talk about. I would just like him to distinguish a little bit better. But I mean, obviously, he's already conflated checking out what's wrong with your engine with scientific method. So I don't
The
know.
fact that it is being blurred, while he's got pretty good examples of what the scientific method actually is on screen, as he details it in a pretty good way. You know, he's got most of the meat off that bone when he regurgitates it with all the pepper that he's putting alongside it for his just so stories and his car engines and his technology and his non-science and his pseudoscience, which is probably yet to come. But the fact that he's blurring those lines whilst detailing the things that we do detail is epic. This is a really good video as a teaching tool, 10th. Excellent choice. One of your best, I would say. And it's from a tiny YouTuber, typically. So it's not the dross when you're a massive YouTuber. I'm not saying being a small YouTuber immediately it means you'll produce good material like this for us to respond to, because at surface level, if you just watch this video, it's not good. Not at all. It's just good for us. Shout out to D-Rose, who says, I stand corrected. It actually was Adam who mentioned and elaborated the understanding of science is knowledge. Yes, it was. Thank you for the super chat. Adam is awesome. There is no doubt about that in my mind.
That's why he's the emissary.
For example, the theory of gravity tries to...
Not a theory. There we go. That's why I blurred the lines. Not a theory.
Explain.
Back with... sorry, he's just literally in the last breath. Got to object further. I thought I could just let that slide. To how much scientific validity you've got to back it to call it a theory. There isn't any scientific validity to gravity. None. Yet you're calling it a theory immediately after the back of making that statement and declaration. Wow.
In why it is that when you drop something, for example, it...
Like a helium balloon, okay? Everybody drop a helium balloon. We all watching it go up?
Falls to the ground.
Excuse me? Come again? That didn't happen. Are you insane?
Maybe a little bit. Maybe you should find out that even Newton said, I feign no hypothesis for this. So being that he's talking all about hypothesis and scientific method, maybe you should know that.
I think we should do it again. So we'll give it a go. See if I can cue this up in such a way that it'll work. Let's try that. Yes, I have. Right. Everything's going to work. Hopefully the jape will work.
For example, the theory of gravity tries to explain why it is that when you drop something, for example, it falls to the ground. And so that's a theory that tries to explain what's happening. There aren't too many people out there today that are saying, well, gravity is just a theory. No, it's our best explanation for why things fall down whenever.
What, like that helium balloon I just released? Yeah, it didn't go down. It went up. You crazy man. So this is backed by science and lots of scientific validity. I debunked it live on air with a helium balloon. Why all things go to the downward bias? They don't. Let go of a helium balloon, it went up. I'm looking at clouds right now, Dumbo. What are you talking about? This is your example of things having lots of science to back it when I can debunk it by looking at clouds. I'm thinking no.
You drop them on the Earth's surface. And
used to when a kid's just had a birthday, there's loads of helium balloons knocking about.
So there are lots of theories, and generally theories have a large body of evidence, and as we see here, they have been tested quite a bit.
But really? I just let go of a helium balloon. I tested it and it didn't support the original notion that things move to the ground. So are you going to back that as having causality established for an effect that isn't real? We've got clouds.
So in the case of our car breaking down, I suppose we could say our...
What about in terms of all things fall to the down, go boom, boom?
Theory is that the gas tank is empty, and so...
I don't know what's wrong with it. Ain't got no gas in it.
The fifth step is take action. And so in the case of our car being broken down, our taking action might be we go to the gas station.
What the hell? Where's he got this from? Take action? After theory? No. Observe natural phenomena, formulate a hypothesis, that is to say your supposition of cause versus your dependent variable, the effect you're attempting to induce, alongside a null, followed by experiment, variation of said presumed cause of the effect you're studying to see if it causes it or not. If it does cause it, you can then move forward to a theory, and that's useful because what actually follows theory typically is useful things for humanity, like technology. They come after the science. So it's easy to think that your computer is science. No, but the scientific discoveries were in place for you to have that computer. It just isn't the science. It's the technology that comes after the science. Same applied to medicine. It's easier to understand, in fact, with medicine. So you understand people dying, they study it, establish the cause of the effect being the phenomena that they're studying, the illness. And then when they figure out the cause of the illness, they can then go about solving it. Yeah? So that's cause and effect established, and then theory, and then medicine, equivalent to technology.
Maybe that's his version of the take action part, what comes after the science is done, and you could actually create technology based on that. Maybe that's what he kind of means without
He doesn't know.
knowing that that's what he means.
No, he definitely doesn't. He doesn't mean that at all. Take action would be,
I'm trying to give him a break, you know.
Yeah, but in the methodology, if you like, or people come back from sea with scurvy, we figure out that lack of vitamin C by way of systematic experimentation is the cause of that effect. Now we're going to take action. Well, what's the action? Give people stuff with vitamin C in it? Well, yeah, isn't that obvious? If you're studying why people were dying, once you figure out why, you resolve it with the thing that you found out. Yeah, that makes sense, but, you know, it's kind of stating the bloody obvious, if you ask me, if that's what he's doing, Chocolate. I just don't think he is.
And buy some gas for our car. And then we...
No, I stand corrected, Chocolate. That is exactly what he was doing.
Drive off.
Exactly.
In the case of a...
Yeah, next step. Continue your journey is the next bullet mark. There's no space, so it won't be, but...
Scientific observation or scientific theory, taking action might be something as simple or something as complicated as writing a paper to be published in a scientific journal.
No.
You said scientific observation.
At that point, right, if you have actually established the cause of the effect you studied in nature, at that point, that's when wonderful things happen. That's when technology, medicine, all those wonderful things, they're the result of it. Not a paper. I mean, that sounds like something that someone who's just made up a Just So story might do, as opposed to advance humanity, which is what science actually does. Advance humanity. There's a lot more grand things that can follow the end of a successful scientific experiment. Not just writing papers. That's pathetic.
And letting other scientists read about what you've done so they
can cure the sick, advance humanity. Yeah.
Can carry out the experiment also and test it.
No, that comes in the systematic experimentation stage. See here, where it says experiment. You don't get to the theory, and then the action is give it to another person to do this bit. That comes incorporated into the, quote, systematic experimentation stage. That is to say that you don't do one experiment and then form a theory with it. No. That's when you contact other individuals and say, I would like you to become the scientist. That would be to say that you will be the person who varies and manipulates that which I assumed caused this effect. And I can demonstrate that it does cause this effect. However, so that we can eliminate the chances of my invalidated experimental setup being a potential, I would like you, third party, to vary and manipulate the independent variable which I have validated to cause said natural phenomena. That is the systematic experimentation stage, doing it more than once. Once lots of people have validated by being scientists that which they were assuming caused the effect until they also confirmed it caused the effect, then, and only then, can you move on to theory. As I say, the action part isn't writing your paper and passing it on. That's during the experimental stage if it's validated. That is to say, the alternative has a tick next to it. You better damn well do it another 100 times to make absolutely certain that there was nothing awry in the setup. Then you form a theory, because then you're absolutely certain beyond any doubt that there was nothing awry, wrong, done incorrectly in the experiment itself, so that you know beyond all doubt that your empirical outcome that establishes the cause of an effect that might be life-threatening has been proven true. Because then you can cure the sick and advance humanity, not write papers and contact other scientists to do the same thing again. It's already been done if you're at the theory stage.
It as well. Sometimes taking action might be going to a scientific conference.
Or curing the sick and advancing humanity. Not going to a conference so you can babble about your story that you made up and wrote a paper on if you didn't actually follow the method. Humanity gets advanced or lives get saved if you have actually done this. It's not some interesting folly that you take to a convention.
And talking to other scientists about what you've discovered. Maybe they can try to repeat your experiment. See if
again, that takes place in the experiment stage. Systematic experimentation. Not after the theory, before it.
If their data backs up your observations, your theory?
Yeah, that would be to say that they did the experiment as well prior to you forming it into a theory. Systematic experimentation, you've got the order wrong. It's not take action stage, you've just made this up.
Or if it doesn't. So the scientific...
If it doesn't, why the hell have you already got a theory in place? You see how it doesn't make sense in your order? So you go through the experiment, you form your theory, everyone's rejoicing. And according to me, you can advance humanity. But then you take action, give it to someone else, and they don't validate it? Well, then something's definitely very wrong. If you're validating the experiment and someone else isn't, then there was something wrong, wasn't there? Yeah, that's why this is done before you do a theory. You make certain, by double-checking that the experimental setup was also validatable by other non-involved parties. That's the systematic bit. Yeah? You don't seem to understand that. You think it comes after. So what happens then? Do you put a line through your theory after publishing it? No, obviously not.
Method is a systematic way of testing observations.
Kind of like me saying systematic experimentation stage. Yeah, but you're detailing it at the take action stage after the theory stage, mate. Makes no sense to me.
Now, scientific method is not just something that scientists do.
It is exactly what scientists do if they want empirical outcomes.
If you're planning on becoming an auto mechanic, for example.
Then you wouldn't be doing science, you'd be fixing cars. We pointed that out earlier. Go on, Chocolate.
No, I was just saying, here we go again. Auto mechanic, scientist.
Auto mechanics carry out the scientific method every day.
That's troubleshooting.
What? The auto mechanics carry out the scientific method, do they? No, they don't. No, they carry out troubleshooting.
To find out why a car isn't running.
That's troubleshooting.
What's wrong with the car?
Troubleshooting.
They carry out this same set of steps.
No, they haven't. They don't observe a natural phenomena at step one. You've just put observe. Yeah, that's where you're going wrong, mate.
If they test something, if that doesn't work, they try something else.
That's called fault finding.
Also,
honey, the car won't start.
Yo, this is the
scientist.
One more attempt, John.
Honey, the car won't start. Call a scientist.
I don't know what's wrong with it. It ain't got no gas in it.
The doctor will do this. If you go to the doctor, they're going to make...
No. Doctors aren't scientists either.
Observations, try to figure out what's wrong with you, make an educated guess or a hypothesis.
Really? Is that what I go to my GP for? Just make an educated guess and then vary what you think might be the cause of my woes. And if it fails, I mean, it might kill me, but I mean, at least you know it failed. You validated, you know I might be dead. No, Dumbo. You better be damn sure you know what you're doing if you're a general practitioner.
They're going to experiment. They might run some tests on you, take your temperature, take an X-ray or something, see what's going on. And then when they come to a...
X-ray is about as close as you've got to naturally occurring phenomena. Yeah, things break. Yeah, bones break. Yeah, I mean, the X-ray itself is utilization of technology. Now, the technology in that instance, if you're talking about the discovery of these wavelengths, and I put that in air quotes, of light, I'm not going to go as far as to say that that is even off the back of science, the discovery of the various different wavelengths. Now, understanding light diffraction has advanced humanity with quantum mechanics and computing. That is science. But in terms of just X-rays, yeah, they might sound cool, but the discovery of various different frequencies of light, that's not science. I'm going to go as far as to say that's not science, in the same way as spectroscopy isn't science. Yeah? These are just looking at things and describing them.
The hypothesis...
Utilizing them after you understand what they are, like X-rays, again, not science. You haven't established the cause of X-rays, for example, if you're going to call X-rays a phenomena. Not that he's saying broken bones, and not that he's saying that either, which could be a phenomena. He's saying the X-ray of the broken bones. It's so detached from a natural phenomena, it's unreal.
It's very well supported. We can call that a theory.
You could. You'd just be laughed at by people who actually understand what science is.
They're going to take action. They're going to give you a medication or maybe do surgery or something, and that's what doctors do. And so...
Yeah, that's not what scientists do.
Surgeries or something.
Yes. Doctors. You notice how they've called doctors as opposed to scientists. You see how they're different words? Yeah, like mechanic. I mean, I can do the same as you've done. Now, in the same way as a brain surgeon has to open your skull and then perform complex surgery on things that perform jobs. In the same way, a mechanic lifts the bonnet of your car and has to fiddle around with things that have jobs. So in the same way this guy says that mechanics are scientists, I can say that mechanics are doctors. They're basically car doctors, aren't they? They're just doctors. So it's perfectly reasonable for me to say a car doctor is basically a doctor. He's basically doing the same thing, but on your car. So not only is he a car doctor, he's a neural car doctor. Perfectly reasonable by this standard.
But he's still varying and manipulating man-made devices, though.
Wait,
So-
hold on. Aren't you doing that with your computer? Haven't you been doing that with your computer, troubleshooting it?
I'm a
Does that
neural
make you a
scientist,
scientist?
computer doctor. I think you'll find chocolate, absolutely, without question.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
there are
say the
lots of
same
people.
thing.
Nathan Oakley, computer scientist.
And what's a bonnet?
Professor Oakley's been tinkering with this computer for a very long time, and I can juxtapose that with science. Therefore, I'm a scientist. I mean, by this guy's standard.
People, not just auto mechanics and doctors, all kinds of people. Maybe
anybody. You name it.
There
Hang
you
on.
go.
Flooring,
It's-
Neil, flooring, you're a scientist, my friend. Do
I
you
know
overcome problems? Do you observe things, Neil? Yes, you do. So therefore, when you're overcoming those problems, Neil, you're basically a scientist. You're following this method, basically, aren't you?
I'm
Yeah,
trying to follow.
You're a common man scientist.
No,
Yeah.
I'm changing my name on the shirt. It says carpet technician, flooring technician. I am now going to put flooring scientist.
Perfectly reasonable.
Nice.
Just for clarity, this is not reasonable for those who are not British or don't understand sarcasm. Not reasonable, no. Scientist would be somebody who either, in their genius, assumes the correct cause of a phenomena, or the person who varies and manipulates that which they assume, or the other person who is the genius in this example, will cause the effect. So the variation of that which is assumed to cause an effect, the individual who varies it could be called a scientist. The person who formulates the hypothesis, that would be to suppose the cause of an effect, could also be labelled correctly as a scientist. However, the man who finds that right combination of plastic to go on your hair to make it shiny, that's not the science part. He is not a scientist.
What? He's
Nathan,
not a higher scientist?
No.
Nathan, everybody was talking so much there. The part about the mechanic scientist, I lost that in transmission. Can you replay that?
These puns are really starting to grind my gears.
Oh, good one.
Well, you are a
You're on
shifty guy.
fire. Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to step it down a few gears because with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
That shit. Like, that was one of the weirdest commercials.
That
or
was.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even know what you call it. It was just one of the weirdest. I mean, there were a lot of weird videos during that time.
That's how it all connected, though. That's how it all connected.
Everything went crazy.
No, that's a tell.
No,
That's
they
a
were
tell.
connecting everything.
No, that's a tell how big the flat Earth audience is, and they have to dismiss it in other means. So that commercial was made, and they have to address it by saying, "And the Earth is a globe," or "The Earth is round." Why? Why do you have to say that when the whole thing is about something else?
Because they're trying to lay it to rest. They're trying to lay it to rest so that can move on to the next thing to be all preoccupied with.
Which one of these does not belong? Wear your mask, wash your hands, and the Earth is flat. It's like, what?
It's nonsense, man. So back to this guy. So this guy, he had it good for a while, but he convoluted everything that he had good as well. And then he puts in the fifth step, take action. So they all do something like this because it's all the watered down version.
Take action.
Yeah, like, I don't have anything against the dude. This sounded very just Joe Normie science hour or something like that, you know?
Well,
That's
this
what
is
it
how
sounded
they,
like.
by not being true to the method, then they can bring in all kinds of careless things and call it science. And this is what the other videos, I have another one on the scientific method that's worse than this. This was actually quite nice in the sense that he had observation, hypothesis, then it was experimentation, then theory. He had it in the right order, but he convoluted it by watering it down and bringing in car and gas and all kinds of other stuff.
I don't see that as being his fault though, because look how, I mean, first off, there is a definite, like, should I use the word correlation between troubleshooting and performing the scientific method, right? But the problem is we are very specific on the words we use, so we're not going to conflate the two. But he wasn't wrong on what he was trying to do. I just feel like that's been the okie doke that people have gotten. And, you know, troubleshooting is science, and, you know, anything can be thrown in the scientific method, and science, you know, makes cat food and shampoo and your tires.
Right, but that's
instead of Shakespeare, all the world's a stage. Now we can say all the world's a scientist. Same thing.
But Chocolate, when he brought up gravity as a theory that was validated through experimentation, what he hasn't done it. He's saying they told me that was validated through the method I'm showing you now. But in reality, the method has been so corrupted with all these loopholes that it could be this, that, instead of being exacting and limited, it's now expands to shampoo, color your hair, whether you have gas or your battery's dead. And so they can throw everything at it and use that valor, that stolen valor of science. So that's the product of watering down the method.
Well, that's the problem we're having today, isn't it?
Yeah. So we have by us holding their feet to the method and what the method is and isn't, is what we did today, and showed that all this other stuff that he applied to it and said he got from it is false.
Yeah, but that's how guys like M. Scott Beach are able to journey, make science whatever they want it to be. You know, like this is just the outline.
No, it's the system we live in is in cahoots with them. The system we live in is giving them all these things. They're part of it. It's like the Matrix and the conversation Neo is having. And unless you're woke in the right sense and see what they're doing, you're just going to go along with it.
So how do we get people back? I guess to continue doing what we're doing.
Yeah, you tell the truth and you shine light and the darkness flees. And that's all you can do. You don't worry about getting people back in the sense of like, you can't sleep at nights because, oh, my friend, he still believes. No, forget all that. Just tell the truth, show the proof, have conversations with people who have ears to hear, eyes to see. And those that want to argue, I don't even argue with. I said, look, why don't you go give me the official globe claims on a few subjects? I'll even give you the subjects: gravity, rotation of the earth, all these different things that we do. And you come and make your claim to me why it's that. And then I will debunk every one of your claims. In fact, I'll pull $100 out of my wallet, put it on the table, and I'll say, this is yours if I can't debunk the official globe claims. You go research and bring to me and try to prove it to me. Because they don't know the official globe claims. And when they hear it and they research it, they're going to see how silly it is and how easy we can debunk it.
And eventually that'll culminate in, well, you wouldn't expect to see this, whatever, insert claim here. You wouldn't expect curvature. You argue about it long enough. What will you hear? You wouldn't expect to see curvature. I mean, we've proven this. Like, look how they used to come before.
Yeah.
And tell us there's curvature. Tell us there's rotation. Tell us, I don't know, we know the distance to the sun. Now what do we get for all of that? You wouldn't expect to see this curvature. You wouldn't expect to see Coriolis. You wouldn't expect to see anything that we used to claim that you would expect to see.
Right.
It's like,
That's
okay,
not even
buddy.
half bad. That's not even half bad. I don't even want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it.
Perfect. That's the best person I want. I don't even want to
Then you leave them alone.
Yeah, I don't want to even talk about it, because if they don't want to hear about it, I don't want to talk about it. But if they bring it up and they say, I hear you're a flat earther, or something, triggers that conversation, I'll say, look, let's make a deal. I'll put $100 on it, but I'll only discuss this issue: round, spherical, rotating, space, versus what I know it is. If you come to me with official citations of your globe claims, I want to see official. I don't want your opinion. I've already gone through that too many times with people who think they're representing the globe properly. I want the official globe claims, and I'll give you $100 if I can't overcome each one of those claims. Fair enough? That means homework. That means yeah, it does. Or we're not talking about it, because I'm tired of wasting time with people who don't even know their own claims.
And it's not that they.
Go ahead, John.
I was going to say, it's not that they don't want to hear about it. They don't want to hear that they're wrong about it.
That's it, right in the head. You hit it, because when I was speaking to a family member, I was just shut down. Did not even want to hear it. Did not even want to hear nothing about anything, and said we sounded dumb. I mean, that's a little troubling to me.
No, that's the time you pull out the $100 or whatever you got, or credit card, and say, look, $100 right here. You just said what I'm stating is dumb. I want to challenge you now. I want you to get the official globe claims, sit with me with the same people here, and I'll debunk every one of them. But I don't want your opinion. I don't want you laughing at me and saying how dumb I am without proving how dumb I am. So go get the official globe claims, show them, present it to us, prove sphericity, prove rotation, prove outer space, prove all this stuff, and I'll debunk every one, and I'll take $100 back from you. You want that challenge? No, I'll do that. I'll do that all day long.
What is it? Good luck.
No, they've backed down. Like, look, they back down. They back down whenever I've done that.
That's the problem. It's an indoctrination. It's not even education.
Of course.
Yeah, but it's not just indoctrination. I mean, the indoctrination of globe belief is basically just enabling, really. It's just re-enabling enforcement, because people choose to believe it. They choose to believe it. They choose to latch onto the dream and dream of space and all that. And then they don't want to be snapped out of it. So it's not really like, oh, they really can't see it. No, they don't want to see it, because a part of them secretly knows, but it's not ready to deal with it, to face it. So it just doesn't want to know.
Chocolate, you hear?
Yes, sir.
There was a song that you wrote with a title, Why Would They Lie? Yeah?
Yes.
Can you give me a few of the lyrics?
I cursed a few times, so I don't know.
Well, no, just give
I'm
me
supposed to be-
just give me a version of it, just so, because I want to say something about it.
Why would they lie? Why would they lie? Why would you ask such a question? Come in here crying to ask why they're lying? May I make a suggestion?
Okay.
I can't keep rapping because my boss is right.
No, that's good. No problem. I just wanted to give you credit for that, because that's the problem. People want to live in a society where they actually think they have freedoms and the system is not evil and it's not out to get them. Because if they realize why would they lie is worldwide and they're covering something, so there must be some kind of organization for this cover up, as we know. They can't go there and live their life, because they can't now go to the park, play with frisbee with their kids, or go to work and try to make a living, maybe buy a house one day, because in the back of their head, they're saying, I'm living in the world that systematically is lying to me just about almost everything. And I have to be aware and train my children and my wife to not get caught up in these lies. They don't want that to be.
That's what I was going to say before. Like, it's the same people that'll sit around and talk to you all day about, yo, my government lying to me all day. Yo, the man, everybody's lying. Yo, the earth is actually flat. Nah, bro. Like, that's where's the edge? That's literally what I got 2 days ago.
When it comes to that, they're telling the
It's
truth,
like
right?
a flip all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Like,
they
it made
can't
me laugh. I had to actually look at the dude like, bro, we were just been sitting here talking about all these lies the same government is giving you, and all of a sudden, when it comes to this, all of a sudden, they're on point. Like, come on, man, you
Right,
can't,
yeah. The
be
government's
serious.
always lying, but when it comes to flat Earth, well, not everybody can be in on it. Then all of a sudden, right?
And it was literally that stumble of, but where's the edge? It was just like, no, because nobody claimed no fucking edge. What are you talking about?
Well, no, they claimed an edge. We're asking them, where's the edge? You'll turn it around.
Yeah, but the dude I was talking to wouldn't be able, like he literally turned into Agent Smith, and that question came out.
Well, hold up.
Like,
hold
it
up.
was literally one of those. Go ahead, D-Rose.
Check this out. And what you just said, that's for the secular side, right? Let's talk about the church folks, like the Danny Faulkners, like our family members who Bible toting, scripture reciting, yada 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 yada. They go up against the terrestrial plane, the flat Earth. They'll jump right on board the spinning globe.
Sir, you
They'll
are
even make
talking to a
excuses.
scriptural cider.
Huh? What?
You are talking to a holy roller.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's more.
are
of
you a holy
problem.
roller that believes the Earth is spinning?
Hold on, that's more of a
Hang
problem.
on, hang on, Neil. Let this guy, Holy Roller. What's your case, Holy Roller?
Holy rollerballer.
No, don't mock him. What's your case, Holy Roller, to D-Rose?
I'm claiming the scriptures.
Okay, what are you claiming about the scriptures and the nature? Neil, what are you claiming about the scriptures? That was just out there. I'm claiming the scriptures, but what scriptures are you claiming and what topic?
What scriptures am I claiming and what topic? I don't know. I felt like there was a false dichotomy that D Rose was making. And I just wanted to say, sir, I am the man you're talking about, and that's not true.
He wasn't talking about you.
No, I didn't say that all Bible toting, scripture reciting people believe in the globe. Just like all people that believe in 9/11 and will back all of them other governmental conspiracies, but then will say, oh, no, they're not lying about NASA and the thing as Chocolate was explaining. So you misinterpreted what I was saying. What I was saying
I got what you were saying.
okay. So then you're saying you are a Bible toting, scripture reciting person that believes that we're spinning on a ball. Yes or no?
That's exactly what I said. Do
Okay,
you
now
remember when I said
explain yourself in the scriptures that say that.
I never said that, D Rose. I'm being tongue in cheek.
No, he didn't say that, D Rose.
Oh, you were being sarcastic. Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
What he's saying is we're flat earthers, we're Bible toting.
I know
we're
that,
not
but
the worldly Bible toting. And
Okay,
that's
but
the problem worse than secular.
Okay,
The biblical people.
Hey,
that
Neil,
don't-
can you admit that we
I don't
are
have to admit,
also
it's a problem.
No, can you also admit that we are also conspiracy knowledgeable people that know that the government has done other crooked things and can also put in that same pot that the NASA and the spinning ball is the same? So what are you saying?
There's a difference, though, isn't there? There's a big
Why is
difference
there-
here. Because when we're talking about what governments say, we can form an opinion. I think the initial issue is Bible toting, quoting Christians. Why do they choose to ignore certain parts of Scripture? That's the point, that the information's there, the Scripture is there, the Scripture is clear what it's describing, yet they'll quote parts of the Bible for certain reasons, but ignore the ones that are very clear with regards to the nature of creation. And they
That's
have
why
to
I
ignore
say
it.
it's worse. Sorry, I thought you were done. That's why I say it's worse.
And Adam's right.
Okay, I got you.
Adam's right here because they're under the system of lies, and they have in their, how could I put it, trust pastors or theologians who have bought into the lie of scientism. So there's like today's show was on the scientific method, and you saw the guy put observation, hypothesis, experimentation, then you come to theory. And then he took that beautiful structure he put there, and then he took it to a place where it shouldn't with the car and the gas and all that. And then he added a fifth step, take action. So this is what's been happening for hundreds, if not 1,000+ years. And so the whole society is being moved by saying, well, this is reality because the scientists, and there's Christian scientists and non-Christian scientists, they all say this, so it must be true. So then when they read the Bible and they say, well, we'll give God the credit for Betelgeuse, and we'll give God the credit for these other galaxies now, and we'll give God the credit for wormholes. It's like, well, as long as God gets the credit, then science and religion can't be at odds. And this is the compromise that's so stupid because, as we know, the scriptures in the Bible do not lend any credence to the current model whatsoever. In fact, opposite. And Martin Luther and John Calvin went against Copernicus. They love to cite these two theologians, except on the subject.
That's what makes me a little bit, I won't say afraid, but like in your situation, right, Ten? They told you the matter's basically been settled, right?
Well, one group of pastors told me that, and I said, no, it's not. You haven't backed up your claims. I want to see it. Then when they refused, I decided to say, okay, well, I'm going to write a letter. I'm leaving this teaching under you because you're hypocritical, and I cannot sit under your teaching because every Sunday I'm going to sit there and say, well, he knows he wouldn't back up here, but now I got to listen to him here.
But are they hypocritical, Kent? Because look at I was looking up the scientific method in science, and it's nonsense what you pull up today.
No,
so I don't get it.
No, you need to get it. Christians are saved sinners who can still be wrong on issues. That's what you need to understand.
That I know, but they're
Okay, and
not
that's
getting
what's
the
happening.
proper information
I
on
don't
what
care.
the scientific method is.
I don't care because, see, if they don't look into it and to do a deep dive themselves, they'll never get it because they're going to be instructed by society and the wave of society, whichever wave it's going. We had a Christian astronaut speak in our church. Are you saying he's a liar? That's what someone told me. And I said, well, if it goes against the Bible, yeah, he's a liar.
But here's my thing. You don't even need the scientific method for the earth because it explains it right in Genesis. So why are we even going into science?
Neil, stay on topic here. We're talking about people in
I
position
am
of
on
leadership.
The ones in the church, okay? They don't even need to look up the scientific method to follow what it says in Genesis, correct?
Neil, they're under the spell.
The question isn't whether it's validated by science or not. It's kind of irrelevant to a Bible-believing Christian. The question is why, when the scripture is plain, are you denying its plain understanding?
Thank
That's
you,
what I
Adam.
just said. Maybe I'm not explaining myself correctly, but it's right there in front of them.
I know, but
They
you
can
pose
see
your
it.
question. You pose your question as if they can see what's in front of them and decipher it properly after they've been under the spell that it means outer space and orbits. They decipher it with that rather than what it actually says without that.
There's a long road to hoe, I'll tell you that much.
I know, you know, Neil, I don't.
With an apologetic heliocentric lens that was handed to them, because they're told how to think of it heliocentric wise. They're given the excuses and they take it.
Yes, thank you, Armin.
Well,
that's where they're
an
at.
easy way out then. I'm sorry.
Well, it is, but they don't know the other way because they think that's the truth, Neil.
Hey, 10, can I ask you a question? Do you think that the reason why they think is the truth because of that? I'm not sure who his name is, but the heliocentric kind of founder, being that Catholic priest. What was his name?
Just ask the question. What's your question?
Oh, do you think that's why some people who, even though they read the scripture and believe in the scripture, still can't get over that?
What do you contact? I can't tell what you were
He's talking about the
contrasting.
guy that came up with the Big Bang.
Yeah,
because he was a
because
Roman
they see a clergyman. You know, they see a clergyman. They see Danny Faulkner.
No.
They hear these pastors. They hear these clergymen speaking on the heliocentric belief and pushing it and
But
trying.
the Catholic Church, Copernicus was Catholic. Lemaitre was Catholic. He's in science. He's adopted the world science, and he's trying to fit it in with Holy Writ. But, you know, they've already made a bunch of mistakes about Holy Writ when it comes to method of salvation and Mary and praying to saints. So don't even go there with me. So you got the organized church, the false church, and then you got the true church. There are Catholics who are going to heaven because they love Jesus. They don't believe any of that other BS. There are people all over the world who love Jesus and the Savior that God the Father gave him and believe the Bible. Those are the true church members, not the organized church. When a pastor in a Protestant sense or a priest in the Greek Orthodox or Catholic sense do not stick to scripture, they're false immediately. Do you know the Bible says that there'll be people coming with different Jesuses, and you need to make sure you got the right one. Well, the Mormons have a different Jesus. Jehovah's Witnesses have a different Jesus. Christian Science has a different Jesus. My gosh, there's so many Jesuses I ran into. In fact, Mormons think that Satan is the brother of Jesus. I mean, that's blasphemy to its core. So the whole point is you can have Satan using false religious systems to confuse the people from the truth of the Bible, because they all go to the Bible to establish their false religion and misquote it. And we see that with the scientific method in the science world. They misuse it and get more bits and universes out of it for some. Look, I could just go on the rant here, but I'm not worried about any of that.
You're doing pretty good. Keep going.
Well, I'm not worried about any of that, because truth dispels darkness. So all I do is proclaim the truth. And then when they want to make fun or mock me or whatever, I say, good, you got $100? Let's bet. And they run away. Good. Cowards that you are.
You've had years of jiggling with scripture. I'm going to give a quote from the Jehovah's Witnesses. There is one who is dwelling above the circle of the earth, the dwellers in which are as grasshoppers, Isaiah 40:22. See, and what you've had is probably 50 plus years of people trying to reinterpret that, go into the Hebrew. What the Jehovah's Witnesses say here is, look, it is regarded as, here the Hebrew word is rendered as circle, but it also may be translated as a sphere. Right? According to a concordance by the Hebrew and Chaldean scriptures by Bree Davidson. So then you've got people that are supporting it. Why this important? Because they're trying not to have an opposition between scripture and science. Because for the past 50 years, science has more validity than scripture in the churches.
That's sad. That's really sad.
It's true. So you've got to look at what's been indoctrinated into these people. They've got scripture still. Why have they got it? Because they're changing the meanings of words to allow the scripture to fit with science. It's a difficult thing, as they say. It's easier to fool someone than to point out that they've been fooled. And that's where you're at with analysis of scripture in the churches, I think.
That's what I said. It's a hard road to hoe right now, but it can be done.
Two things. They're not Chaldeans like chiggers. They're Chaldeans. Number two, 10th, that was wonderful. I enjoyed listening to that. And then you ended it with gambling sin.
What?
even if it's a short thing, it's still gambling.
Well, it's a barter. It's an exchange.
Sounds like a bet to me.
Back up. No, because you know, with the FED debates and all the back and forths we'd have here, I consider myself not a full, because there's no way to gauge that, but a semi-pro subject matter expert on these topics. So when I come across somebody, I say, what have you done 5 days a week, 3 hours average, not counting buying books, reading on your own time on those subject matters for 6 years, 5 days a week? Would that be surpassing master study? Any kind of, yes. And they go, so what's your point? I go, well, if you're going to take me on, you've got 6 years, 5 days a week, 3 hours a day on physics and geometry and the nature of Earth. You want to put that, you want my knowledge from that? It's going to cost you $100.
Get money up.
Well, hold on. As long as you're not expecting them to give you $100 if they fail, you could just consider that a reward. And then you wouldn't have to go into sin.
Well, it's not even sin, because they say no, and I say, fine, you can have my $100 if you prove me wrong, but you come with the official globe claims first, because I need you to go do your homework, because I don't want your opinion. I want cited official globe claims, because I could debunk every one of them. But I can't debunk your opinions because they're not based on anything.
But that's what I'm saying. As long as you're not expecting the $100 from them if they fail, it would be considered a reward, not gambling.
That's fine. Either way, I can care less. The point is, putting them to homework is the test to weeding out the fakes. I haven't had one accepted. Because they're not going to do the homework. I've had two people call me arrogant for my homework. I go, wait a minute, you're calling me arrogant after 6 years, 5 days a week, 3 hours a day? That's arrogance because I'm confident in what I'm saying and you don't know what to say other than arrogance? Shame on you.
Yeah, well, that's what happened with my sister-in-law. She outright said, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear it.
That's the best
wrong
thing.
Information.
That's the best thing you could have ever heard, Neil. You're blessed. Sister-in-law never talking to you. That's great.
Right, but then they turn around and they say that we're getting the wrong information. That's
well then
the challenge. Right.
Well, then the challenge is go get the right official information and meet me on my terms. No, we won't do that either. I just want my day in court. I just want to sit across the table, hear the official globe claims, and then throw physics and geometry at them and logic and reason and say, now what? They go, man, that's embarrassing. Yeah, it is, isn't it? You've been lied to.
Hey, I'll give you logic and reason. I'll give you one picture, and I'll see how do you go, nuh-uh.
What's that?
I have one picture. You have no rebuttal to. One picture. You have no rebuttal to. All you have to do, you subject expert to put 6 hours a day, will be nuh-uh.
Let's see the picture.
What's the picture? This should be good.
Yeah.
Everyone knows this picture.
I agree.
Excellent. Well, that's it. That's job's a good one. That shows you.
I can't see the picture. What is it?
Swan.
Not the black swan.
Is it one picture to deal with flat earthers or one picture to deal with globers? I'm not understanding the
I think
context.
that's
of the picture.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll have to analyze the picture and see if Earth is globe or flat. I assure you it's not flat. And all you can say about this picture is nah.
Oh,
Do you know that
really?
things get smaller in the distance?
Is
Don't
this
ask me
Chike?
stupid questions, please.
It sounds like Chike.
No, it's not.
It's
Chike
Chike.
and the
Well,
image
what
is
the-
in Skype.
Chike.
I told
How
you,
you knew?
Chike. Good one, chocolate.
But his voice
Come
has
on,
changed.
y'all can't get away from me.
You can change your voice and your name, and we know who you are, Mr. 3.5 from
Mr.
1,000 feet away.
You know who I am.
Get
You
an
know who I am.
Indian.
Yes.
So I have this picture. Everyone see it.
Chike, you've been assassinated
But I
about
told you no
50,000
religion.
times.
There's no subject today, right?
You just
Can leave
crawled
it to
back in.
another time.
Well, no, let's. I would like to talk about the picture. Would you like to talk about the picture, Chucky?
Sure, I'm here. We'll talk about anything, but politics and religion is not my thing. I just listen.
I see height measurements on that. Did we take the
I
measurements
have
from sea
distances.
level?
Yes, I have distances. I have all the data,
Oh,
all
okay. No,
the sizes.
Just try to answer
the
the
sizes
question
of
I
the
just
object.
asked you. Is the height taken from sea level, Chike? Yes or no?
Of course. It's elevation.
Oh, so you think level is curving?
Well, why do you ask me what I think? I don't think.
I didn't say
I know what I
nuh-uh.
see in the
I
picture.
said you think level is curving, don't you? Yes or no?
No, I don't think level is curving. I know it is.
You know level is curving.
Yeah, and
Okay.
when we finish with the
that's
picture,
great.
you will know it is too.
Hold on a
However,
sec.
you
We
will
just don't want
refuse
to
to
go too
accept
fast
the.
because that's.
However, you will refuse to accept what you just saw, and you'll say, "Nah."
Hold on a sec. We ain't going to
Because
go.
this is
We're
undeniable.
going to
This is
talk
the
about
picture.
this because you just. All right, go ahead.
The picture.
No, you go ahead, John. He did not say nuh-uh. So let's get it on.
Okay. I have the
Right.
picture. I have the distance to the tower.
You said that you know level is curving. So can you get an
I know.
elevation
I know.
angle from a curved line?
Well, you saw Sandley's picture. It's undeniable, right?
Can you
But
get
let's see
an
what I have.
elevation
Let's see
angle
what I have.
from
I
a
have what
curved
Sandley have. Only
line?
he has more points. I have only 2 points.
Yo, Chike, I know it's been a while since you've been here, bro, but can you just relax and actually listen to what John is asking you? You came here with a picture, right? So he's asking you a question about your picture. Okay? Can you
Yeah.
calm down? Thanks.
I'm explaining the picture calmly. I have the distance to the tower.
Yes. All
I
right.
have the location of the observer. And I have objects
You're
in the
taking
distance. I have
heights
the.
from a baseline, sir. You're taking heights from a baseline. That means there is a baseline. We're talking about the baseline. Don't confuse topology
You want
now
me
as
to
we move
explain
on.
to you?
You said level is. You said that you know level is curving. That is
Yes.
not what level is. Level is
And
no
now you
point
tell me what
higher
level is.
or lower.
Before you examine the picture,
Okay.
my evidence, you tell me what it is. You start the before you even look.
I didn't say nuh-uh. I pointed out that you have height measurements from a baseline. That baseline must be flat to get elevation angles from it.
Don't tell me what it must be. Tell me what it is. We have an elevation of something that is called sea level, mean sea level.
Yes. And
I don't care what it is right now. I don't care what it is.
The difference
God.
between eye level and sea level is how you
let's
get the idea that the Earth's curved to begin with, right?
look. Let's not start with biases. There is something is called mean sea level. Whether it's flat or curved, I don't care. People take measurements relative to it.
Level.
Right. And it
can't
must
be
be
curved.
flat
The
to get
word's level.
these angular measures that you're going to
That's your
figure out
opinion.
the
That's
height
your
with.
opinion. That it must be flat. I know I don't make any judgment if it has or has not to be flat. All I know it's the datum. It's the
The fact
point
that you
that I can
called it
go. I say I
level,
measure from here to here. I don't care about the rest of the datum. I take a point on the datum and I measure elevation from there.
Yes. And level
Okay.
was utilized as a flat baseline to do all the calculations that you're getting ready to go into. Because you got the height from a stick ruler? No. You took an angular measure using a flat earth. And then what? It's over. At the point of concession, I'm not going to argue about what you think is happening in that picture.
Look, let me walk you through it calmly,
I just
and we
walked you
can
through it.
agree on some things, and walk from there, step by step.
If you don't know what the word level means, we're not going to make it anywhere.
I don't
You think
don't care
level is
what level
curving.
means. I
It's
don't care.
not.
It's part of what you need.
Yeah.
You need level in what you're describing, but you're saying you don't care what it means because it means Earth's flat.
You
how do you
came
say
with the
you don't
bias that Earth is
care?
flat, and it will stay flat because you will not accept anything else.
Yeah, but you're the one who said level, right? So can you
I
define
didn't
what
say
that
level. I
means?
didn't say level.
You said
He did.
you didn't say level.
He said mean sea
But
level. He specifically referenced sea level. So you did use the word level. That would be having no part higher or lower than the other. So level. You referenced it about the sea level.
The mean sea level, yes.
Yes, so that would be a
that was you.
yes. So that would be a you did refer to level. You need level. But you're also saying you don't care what level means because in this instance, level means Earth must be flat. Now, you don't like that and you don't want to concern yourself with how level proves Earth's flat. We understand.
It's a datum. It's a datum. Call him whatever you want. Don't say level.
You said level. We just went through this 30 seconds ago. You were describing sea level and the reference points that John was arguing with you about and how that proves Earth's flat. When that was pointed out to you, you told us that you don't want to concern yourself with what level means.
I said I don't care about the word level.
And why did you use it, Dumbo? Don't tell us about what sea level is if you don't know or concern yourself with the level bit. In other words, the bits that don't affirm your bias and belief in a globe, you don't want to concern yourself with, right?
Reference elevation, not sea level.
Yeah, that's where you're getting your elevations from with respect to sea level. That would be the sea having no part higher or lower than other parts of it. So not curving away at 8 miles squared, but level for you to get the heights, John's initial point that you've completely ignored. So John's won, and your response to him winning is you saying, I don't want to concern myself with level.
I haven't even started to present my evidence. You saw a picture, you got triggered. You know you're trapped here before you even looked at it. You know you're trapped here because Earth is not flat.
No, you actually snatched your own wig off when you came in
So
here.
why
And said,
don't you let me explain the pictures so you get to agreement on some things and move on?
You've already referenced sea level.
Why you stop asking me about is level curved or not when I didn't make any conclusion?
I see. You just used the word level, and we understand that level means having no part higher or lower than the other. And in reference to things like baselines, that means Earth is level. Having no part higher or lower than the other means it's not curving away. That means Earth is flat.
I said reference elevation.
Yeah, and elevation is with reference to a baseline that's flat, not curving. So to have this reference to the heights, you need Earth to be flat. And you used Earth as flat when you referenced sea level.
Sure.
Yeah, so Earth's flat. And the only way you can make your example is if Earth is used as flat and you're using the sea level to get your nice flat Earth to make your example in your picture that you haven't shown yet. So before we go forward with your picture, we just need you to understand that you're referencing a flat Earth before you present your picture.
Okay.
Okay, so Earth's flat then. We don't need any picture. We already established that we're going to need a flat Earth for you to make your presentation in this regard. So Earth is flat then, and you'll need it to be to get a flat baseline.
You coward.
But did you just call me a coward for proving Earth's flat with your examples of things being level and you needing to reference level for elevation? No, that's just me proving Earth's flat with your example of level.
You can't look at the picture. You're afraid to look at the picture. You're a coward.
I need to. Just explain how you need to reference sea level, therefore Earth is flat.
Don't tell me what I read. I heard you say...
I heard you say level. And then you denied it because it was inconvenient. Then you told us how you didn't want to concern yourself with it, again, because it's inconvenient and proves Earth's flat. Now you're calling me a coward. Are you scared of level? Coward?
I make my argument, you make yours.
With sea level as part of your argument. So are you now scared of your own word? Does level now scare you, coward?
No.
Well, why would you not concern yourself with this flat Earth proving word that you've used in your example before showing the photo?
I don't need to.
You don't need to worry about how flat Earth must be for you to reference it as level for the elevations. I concern myself with that greatly because it proves Earth's flat. But you would prefer to call me a coward when I'm proving Earth's flat with your level necessity. No, that's not me being a coward. It's you scared of level. But you also need it for your example. So you need Earth to be flat, but it also scares you. Okay, coward.
No, I don't need it to be flat.
So why did you reference sea level, precisely, pray tell?
Do you want to see the picture?
No, I want to know why you reference sea level when you're now saying you don't need to reference sea level for the elevations that you do need. You need Earth to be flat.
Water, I'll reference...
So you're going to talk through me while I point out that you're a coward and you're scared of level, even though you definitely need Earth to be flat.
In short, you have nothing to say.
I've got Earth being flat based on your need to reference it as flat for elevations. That's what I've got to say on the subject. I'm asking if you are scared of level that you referenced.
I'm not scared of anything.
All right. Well, you appreciate then that having no height higher or lower than the other would preclude the idea of Earth having a curved surface then?
No.
But if it's having heights that aren't higher or lower than others, then it can't be curving away. Are you stupid? Is this concept too much for you to understand? Having no part higher or lower, that would be your reference to sea level, means Earth's flat, not curving away, because that wouldn't be having one part not higher or lower than the other, because one part would be lower if it's curving away. So I'll ask again, are you scared of level, even though you need it for your example for heights?
You started talking before I presented my evidence, before I made my argument.
What, with sea level being part of your example? No, you definitely made, we're clarifying part of your example and you're shying away from it because you're a coward and scared of level.
Oh, you won't let me show the evidence? Okay.
We heard about sea level, the reference to sea level that you made, we're clarifying it. And you're scared of it. You're terrified of it as a globe-believing muppet who can't accept the level Earth you need for your example.
If you're nonsense.
Right, my nonsense proving Earth's flat with your example of sea level for reference to heights. No, I'm not a coward. No, I'm not spewing nonsense. No, I'm proving Earth's flat, and you are scared of the level necessity you will need for your example.
Everyone see that you're scared to look at the picture.
No, I'm not scared of anything.
Everyone sees this 2016 tactic that you got here. Look at my picture.
It's called Game of Chicken.
We looked at the picture, though.
Right now.
Hold on. That's what started this. We looked at the picture, and I asked you a question based on the picture, and you immediately invoked level. So, what are you saying? It's our fault, and we were just going to say nuh-uh and run away? You're delusional.
No, you asked me irrelevant questions to my argument.
About how level is level when you're referencing the heights of stuff. And in order for level to be level, it can't be curving. And that would make us the winners in this discussion when proving Earth is flat with your example. But you're saying those questions are irrelevant to what you proving a ball because you're not.
Unfortunately, it sounds like Chike thinks it's still like 2017, where he could just come and be like, "Yo, check out my picture,"
As I predicted,
and we can just talk about the picture all day.
you will
Stop
go.
talking through chocolate, Chike.
Chike, you have to understand it's a different day now, right? We can debunk your claims simply by the words that you use. We don't need
Go
your
ahead.
little picture.
Go ahead. No, you can't
Oh,
debunk
you've
by my
already done
words.
that.
You need to
Thanks. You've
examine the
already done
evidence.
that. As Nathan pointed out, you said
You
level.
coward.
John
You
pointed
coward.
out, I pointed out, level. Right? That debunks your claim right there.
Hold on, chocolate. But
That
John
make
asked you a
you
question.
arrogant.
Hold on, Chike. Wait a second, Chike. John asked you a question. Can you get an elevation angle from a curved baseline? Yes or no?
Did I mention any angles yet? Why are you strawmanning me? You didn't let me present my argument.
John asked you a simple question. You're saying it's curved.
Why you ask me question? I didn't make any claim.
So you're not claiming Earth's a ball then? You don't think Earth's a sphere?
He presented a picture, and I asked him a question about the picture that he was getting ready to make a claim on. He stated that the heights were taken from sea level. What is? Do you think that's unfair
Datum
in
that
some
is
way?
called mean sea level. That's what I said. Datum that is called mean sea level. Let's call it a reference elevation datum. Forget the word level.
Elevation.
Sorry, but levels. Sorry. So just hold on, John. So we're going to take it as a reference to give you heights, but we're not going to acknowledge the fact that there's a level bit in there. So you coward. You want to use flat Earth for your example, but ignore the level bit.
I don't need it.
Why did you say it then?
Because that's its name.
That's its name. So you don't want to acknowledge that because it's in the friggin' title for it, how Earth must be flat for you to reference these elevations. But you don't want to acknowledge that you're utilising a flat Earth. You just want to take it as just being a name. Level, well, I don't mean that it's having heights no higher or lower than each other. It means it's actually curving away 8 inches per mile squared because you're a coward and don't want to acknowledge the level Earth you're utilising to make your example because you're a coward. That's what you actually are. You are the coward here. You don't want to acknowledge how flat Earth must be for your example that's got the word included.
You don't dare to look at the picture.
Don't need to. I know that you're referencing the heights from sea level. So straight off the cuff, this is referencing Earth as flat to give you heights off something that has no part higher or lower than the other. That would be not curving away, not ball-shaped, not anything other than level. Simple.
You're losing in points here, Nathan.
Right, is this your one-trick pony, only trick you've got to tell me over and over again that I'm not addressing your photo? Even though John's just pointed out that his question came off the back of your photo, we are addressing your photo and we're using your words to prove Earth's flat. You think that that's us being what, cowards? No, Chike, you're a moron. And you're proving Earth's flat because all roads lead to a flat Earth.
Don't let me make a claim.
Is that your only trick? Well, G Plus pipes up to say, I'm not letting you make it. We've seen the photo. We know already that you've proven Earth flat, so we don't need anything else. You've proven Earth's flat. You've not acknowledged it because you're a coward. You're saying, oh, I haven't got to make my example. What, after proving Earth's flat with sea level?
Walk me through it.
Sea level. That's having no part higher or lower than the other. That means it's not curving away at 8 inches per mile squared. That means it's flat. Are you dumb? No, you'd rather ignore level, right? You'd rather not focus on that bit of the word included in your example that needs Earth to be flat to reference. You'd rather ignore that, right, coward?
So you wouldn't...
So you'd rather ignore that level bit. You've told us already you don't want to acknowledge it. You've told us, Chike, you are a coward and won't be acknowledging the level bit that you use for your heights.
I don't need to.
Well, why is it in there then? Just a name. I've already heard this do-si-do. We've already gone round this circle once. Yeah, I know you think it's just a name. I take that name that you don't acknowledge because you're a coward and point out that if it's got no part higher or lower than the other, that's level. It's not fucking curving, Dumbo.
Words have
You
meaning,
haven't looked at the
Chike.
evidence.
What, the one that requires level to reference the elevations? That would prove Earth's flat just by you referencing elevations off a level surface that isn't curving away, because then it wouldn't be level anymore, Chike. So I'm not scared. I'm proving Earth's flat repeatedly with your own evidence.
May I, Nathan? Chike, you should be referencing mean sea curve, but there is no such thing. So you have to use flat Earth for your globe.
I'm referencing.
Sorry, you a coward? Do you need to talk through 10th Man where he points out that you're not referencing a globe-shaped Earth for your sea level? You're referencing a flat Earth for it. Did you need to bark through him like a coward? Because it seems like you're scared of this stuff. And the conclusions from 10th are going to get barked through by you, the coward who has nothing but to tell us we're not looking at your image that we've taken apart based on your requirement as a globe-believing muppet for Earth to be flat?
How am I referencing a flat and not curve?
Level, Dumbo. Having no part higher or lower. If it's curving away at 8 inches per mile squared, then in the distance is lower. Level isn't that, you stupid clown. Do you understand what level means? Oh, no, you don't. You're a coward and would rather ignore what level is.
I want to see what level is.
Well, then you only need look out your window, my friend. Earth is flat, and it will be referenced as such for your heights in your example.
Nothing. You have nothing, Nate.
Well, other than your own example that requires Earth to be flat with sea level.
Use that word.
I want to see what level is.
I want to know what level is.
I'll show you if I will do this.
Sorry, we're all just being really scared and cowardly while we sing I Want to Know What Love Is, incorporating your level claim that you need. So we're really scared and being cowards right now, Chike. Do you mind?
No, I didn't say...
Yeah, you are the coward here who's scared of how level Earth must be for your example. You're scared, you're the coward. You understand that you are the coward, and you calling us one
about the others.
was
Don't
mere
put
projection.
wood in my mouth.
Mere
We're
projection.
laughing at you.
Nathan, I got a
Nathan,
video.
you're losing
master.
points big
Hang
time
on,
here.
Chike. Hold on, you'll have plenty of time.
Sorry, 10th.
Nathan,
Sorry, 10th. You interrupted his one-trick pony way of arguing, which is to tell me we've ignored what he's presented 50 more times. He's already done it 25. I think we need to hear it 26 times from Chike, because he thinks we didn't hear him making that spurious claim that is garbage and doesn't win him any points. Go ahead, Chike.
You want to see the picture now?
We've already seen it. Did you not hear John referring to the picture?
No, not really.
Is that the stuttering wankers that we have here? Yeah, it is, ladies and gentlemen. The stuttering line piece of shit wankers that have their arguments addressed wholeheartedly, head on, and then they tell us that we haven't looked at them. Because they're wankers. Chike's a wanker. Some guy that plays with his own penis because no woman will look at him. A wanker. Yeah? This is him masturbating.
Stuttering is really telling. You guys stutter all the time. What is it with you?
I don't know why we went there, but
hauled over the coals.
There's a video.
Ahead,
There's a video in Master D that I did years ago that involves this subject of 8 inches per mile square. Brian's logic is on it. We're on it, and it has a very good ending with Chike.
My name is Ella. I'm used to just learning math, head down, and watch a lot of YouTube. Brilliant is different.
Hey guys, speaking of pickle, Rick. Hello. Yes, go ahead, Dan. Speaking of pickle, Rick. Brian, you made a connection with Pythagoras with 8 inches per mile all the way to current day pickle Rick. You want to go over that?
Sure thing, yeah. But there's a timeline, you see, that led us to yesterday and today. And that timeline starts with Pythagoras, as he created a mathematical reference model. It's him that gave us the 8 inches per mile squared. He gave us the original calculations for the globe. Now, his ideas were promoted by Aristarchus after him, and then Eratosthenes tested his pre-assumptions by pre-assuming, right, exactly what he said, and then getting the almost exact same calculation for a circumference. And then after that, Al-Biruni in the 11th century, what he did was calculate another pre-assumed radius value, okay? And then we end up yesterday and today with Picklewick, Chike, and Ed Fries. That's what we get.
Oh my God.
From Pythagoras.
What a team. Is that the Bridges? But no, it's just an accurate description from rhetoric to trench. That's all it is.
Sounds like a timeline for a movie.
It does. From the producers of Die Hard. From rhetoric to trench. Coming soon.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Very good.
Did Chike leave? I hated I had to run. I had to deal with something at my kid's school. Has
Chike
he
or
already
Pickle
left?
Rick?
No,
Well, he brought up
Chike.
he brought up a good point when he said you're not letting me make my argument because, and I wanted to tell him why, because for him to make his argument, it is past the point of concession, and we're not interested in doing that. I just wanted him to understand that. I don't know if he did or not.
I don't think he really understood the consequences of using the phraseology that he did.
Main sea level, right? He has no clue what he's talking about.
Well, his picture
Let
has
it
got
be,
height
but let him
references.
let it be, and let me speak.
Well then,
Go ahead.
You want me to concede in advance that my evidence is false? I won't do it.
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying you're wanting to argue past the point that you concede you used the flat Earth to get the heights. There's no point
No, I
in
didn't
arguing
use no
past
flat
that,
Earth.
Chike.
I didn't.
like, we
So you
covered
use the
this.
curved Earth.
We covered this. You're not using mean C curve, are you?
Well, level doesn't mean flat.
It means having no part higher or lower than the other, and curve would have a part lower than the other. So it's definitely not curving away at 8 inches per mile squared. It's having no part higher or lower than the other. That's what level means. That means you're utilizing a flat Earth and you're just a coward and scared of it.
Just let me.
That's you stuttering, bitch. Yeah, stuttering bitch. You're scared of how level Earth must be and how you must use Earth flat.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Nate.
Don't swear at me, stuttering bitch. I'll swear at you. You need Earth to be flat to make your example, then you want to decry how Earth must be flat for your example by simply ignoring the word level, or claiming level don't mean level anymore, or that you won't acknowledge level, or that you'll cowardly, scaredly cry away from this word that you need to make your example. Earth must be flat, my friend. Don't have to be scared of it. It's just a fact that you need. Now, beyond that, we're not interested in arguing. Once you use Earth as flat, we're not interested in your example beyond that. Because what's the point? You've already used a flat Earth for your example. There's no point in arguing about anything else, you idiot. Yeah, that's your response. Yeah, Earth's flat. You needed it to be, and you used it as such. When you utilised the parts that weren't higher or lower than the other with reference to heights from sea level. Level, not curve.
We know it's painful, Chike. We know.
Yeah, we know, coward, how scary it must be for you to acknowledge that the level Earth is being used by you in your example, and how you'd rather we just don't talk about it, how it's only there in name only. Yet we know how scared you are, Chike. Share your pain.
I use level, not flat.
Yeah, level is flat. Having no part higher or lower than the other, that's flat. It certainly doesn't mean curve, Dumbo. Level definitely doesn't mean curving away 8 inches per mile squared. That is not what level means, okay?
Hold on, Chike. Why are you using level? Your Earth is supposed to be curved.
Yeah, because it's
Why
flat
you not
Earth he
using a
needs, because
curved
Earth is
surface?
flat. That's why he's using it. He just doesn't like it. It's scary. He's a coward. Don't be scared, Chike. Don't be scared about level
Nathan,
Earth must
I'm
be.
not the coward. Make your own.
Well, don't be scared of it. Just acknowledge it. You don't have to recognise it in name only when no part's going to be higher or lower than the other. You don't have to say, oh, it's just a name. It doesn't really mean what it's titled. That's what you've done because you're a coward and this scares you. Don't be afraid.
It's a real shame that you follow what I say, you repeat on me.
It's not, Chike, it's not like
You're
you're
losing
alone right now
points big
because
time
most
here.
of your Chike.
But this isn't a game where I'm winning or losing points. Level means level. It doesn't mean curve. You need Earth to be level to make your example. That's it. That's the end of the argument, Chike. We win. You lose.
You just said something that is true. Level means level. Not.
Yes, level means level. That means not curving. Level does not mean curved, because that wouldn't be conducive with the description of level being no part higher or lower than the other. Curve is definitely not that. Therefore, when you utilize level, you aren't conducive to your sphere belief. Don't be afraid, Chike. I know it's scary for you.
Chike, it's okay, right? Because all your ball compadres that eventually do come here end up telling us how flat it is. So you're not alone. So you don't have to be scared of it, right? You're just joining the rest of them that for some reason thought for years they were arguing that it's a ball, but it's actually flat. You're just another case.
Did
So
I argue,
welcome.
I argue it's a ball?
Hold on. Can I read a definition, Nathan?
Feel free.
Curve. A line
No,
or
you will
outline
read
which
all the
gradually-
definitions.
No, the
Shut up.
coward can't bear to hear it, Neil.
Shut up, Chike.
Don't be
Curve,
afraid, Chike.
definition.
Don't be scared. Don't be a coward. Pin your ears back and let it flow through your ear holes into your brain. Go ahead, Neil.
A line or outline which gradually deviates from being straight for some of all of its length. That's the definition of curves. So you're not using a curved surface. You're using a level
No,
surface.
I don't care about the
You don't care?
Oh, you
Just a
don't
coward,
care.
then. You don't care about the scary bits that make Earth flat. You don't care about those,
Neil.
coward.
level. We need the
Yeah, you need it level. That's right. Don't be afraid, but you need it level.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Earth is flat, Chike.
Yeah, what's the definition of level?
Having
Why
no
would you
part
want
higher or
to-
lower than the other.
Why would you want the definition of level if
It's
you live
right
on a
there.
curved
Because we're
surface?
discussing level.
Yeah, we are.
It's right there in Discord at 9 minutes after the hour.
There you go, Chike.
Level from dictionary.com. 3 of them. Level, having no part higher than another. Having a flat or even surface. Level, being in a plane parallel to the plane of the horizon. Horizontal. And level, to make a surface level, even or flat. From Cambridge. 3 levels. Level, not rising or falling or higher on one side, Chike, but even in all directions. Horizontal or flat. Something that is level with something else is at the same height. Level, last one, to make a surface flat. End of citation.
You're done, Chike.
Flat, level, not curved. Earth is flat, Chike. You need it to be for your examples. All roads.
Is it? Do I?
Yes, you do. All roads
Okay.
lead to...
So let's say I agree. Level is.
We don't care. We already know it's flat, Chike. We don't need your affirmation. We don't need that from you. You are thick as shit. And frankly, I don't need you to affirm how flat Earth is when I tell you about how all roads, including the one you are on, lead to a flat Earth. I'll be the one telling you that, while you cower in fear.
Nathan, I'll
better
agree
off with
that
a
level is
picture from
flat, and
space.
you will explain to me why we see what we see in the picture.
Right, you'll agree with me that level is curved.
Regardless, that level is flat. Why what we see doesn't match a flat level?
What, the Black Swan?
Doesn't match a level, then why the bloody hell would you be... Neil, please can you stop? You're making this an editing nightmare. Thank you. So why utilise it then? If level doesn't mean level, why utilise it then, Chike, in your example?
Curious minds there, Nathan.
Why use level then, if level doesn't mean level?
Maybe I found the problem with the flat level. We need to fix it.
But you think that because level is being utilised and is required in your own example, you now have a problem with your own example because you don't like that level means flat. So now you're giving us an example that you automatically have a problem with yourself because you don't like that it uses sea level, correct?
The flat level will have a problem.
But the flat level, that's just the definition of level. You don't like the definition of level. So the problem is actually you not liking that level means flat. You don't like that because you're a sphere believer, correct?
Well, match what we see, Nathan.
Well, match what we see? What are you talking about? We're just defining sea level. We haven't looked at anything. We don't need to.
Will you define...
Sorry, stuttering bitch. We don't need to. Level means level. And you're using it in your example.
Yeah.
Yes. So, stuttering bitch. Earth must be flat for your example. Doesn't matter that you don't like that level means flat. That's not really consequential to me or anybody watching, you idiot.
What does he mean when he says that's not what we see, when Neil deGrasse Tyson says you can't even see Earth curve?
Why you bring in the deGrasse Tyson? Who is that?
Because you said what we see. I don't see Earth curve. Neil deGrasse, who's a spherical believer like you, says you can't see it, but you say you see it. Where do you see it?
He's asking why
are you not addressing what I say? I'm here.
You said you can see Earth curve. Tyson says you can't, you stupid idiot. If you actually listened rather than talking through everybody, you'd listen and understand. He's saying Tyson says you can't see it.
You buy a ruler. They say it's a ruler, it's straight. Ruler is straight. You draw the line and say, no, the line is not straight. Need to investigate.
Don't have your mental wrestling match with yourself about definitions of words with us live. Are we live? Recorded. Because we don't care. Don't do your mental gymnastics in our presence. Go away and have your own little cognitive battle on your own. You not being able to reconcile our level and flat are the same bloody thing. We don't care. Go and reconcile this somewhere else.
You don't care.
No, your inability to reconcile the definitions of words isn't my concern.
It is disturbing, though. I'll give you that. It is very disturbing that you can't reconcile these definitions.
Chike, you don't realize you debunked your own argument with your own words? Did you realize that?
And now you're rebelling against reality.
Oh, well,
I haven't made an argument yet. I wasn't led to give an argument. I was forced argument by Nathan. I was forced what I need to argue for, how I need to argue it, and what I need to say and concede before I even made an argument. Things he objected last time very much when he was told. It's okay.
Feel free.
Good for Nathan.
No worries,
good
Chike.
for me.
I hear your objection. Now you can have 5 minutes uninterrupted to make your argument. Go ahead.
Okay, so you see the picture. I know distances. I know elevations from that bedward. And that's about it. Can we agree that the line of sight is a straight line?
After we get the heights, I can't do this. Yeah, let's argue about the level we just used. This is silly.
Can we agree?
Can we agree? Nathan answer. Let Nathan answer that one little question. Go ahead, ask him again, Jake.
Can we agree? Anyone can answer. Can we agree that line of sight is a straight line? Maybe it's a bit bent, maybe 4 seconds in the bad day. It's not something perceivable.
Right, you want me to answer? Sorry, can I just summarize your question that I'm answering? You're saying, can we agree that the line of sight is straight, but sometimes bent? Is that what you're asking me to agree to?
No, it's always bent, but for us, we can agree.
So you're asking me, can we agree the line of sight is straight, but also agree that it's always bent? You want me to agree to this?
No. I'm asking you, can we agree it's straight?
No, I can't agree to this because it's stupid and contradictory in nature. So no, I can't agree to a contradiction to both straight and bent line of sights because the two aren't conducive with one another simultaneously. They can't exist. They can't coexist together. Therefore, I cannot possibly agree to the statement you're asking me to agree to. Sorry, no.
The line of sight straight or bent?
Why are you asking me? Am I making a claim about it?
No,
So why are you asking me, you stupid moron? You are the one making the claim. You've moaned I've stopped you, and now you're asking me to make the presentation for you after moaning that I've stopped you. Oh, I see. So it wasn't that I was stopping you. It's that I wasn't preemptively giving your presentation on your behalf for you. Really?
Sorry.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, Chike. I'll telepathically receive your presentation and give it for you, and define what level and straight are on your behalf for you before you do, preemptively, because that's what you're expecting from me, isn't it?
Okay.
No, okay. Utterly unreasonable. You've also proved Earth is flat by getting the heights off a level surface. So why would we move forward when you've already proven Earth is flat with this picture? Yeah? Definitions that you've had read out to you multiple times prove it's flat, my friend. It's referencing Earth as flat. So I don't really understand the point of any of this. This is beyond the point of any concern for us, Chike. It doesn't hold any interest.
Okay. The observer is at 1,200 feet elevation.
So in spite of it holding no interest to us, beyond the point that it proves Earth's flat, you're going to carry on babbling about it anyway, in spite of we're already concluding that Earth's proven flat with the example. But you think you need to continue. So like the Black Knight having his arms and legs removed, you still think you can fight us?
Can I present my argument?
You did, and it needed a flat Earth for it.
No.
Yes. And then you cowardly cried away from the definitions of level and how they're not conducive with a sphere Earth. You were cowardly.
Everyone can rewind, and here you gave me 5 minutes.
You started asking me to define what level was, Chike. You passed the baton to me. Did you not?
I will stick to my presentation.
No, you didn't. You were given the opportunity to, and then passed the baton to me by asking me how I define what level is. So it wasn't your presentation. You passed the baton to me.
I took it back.
Oh, did you? No, I rammed it up your asshole, pointing out Earth is flat along the way, you stupid moron. Yeah, I took that baton and raped you with it.
I want my 5 minutes, you promised.
Oh, really? Well, why did you hand me the baton then, when you were supposed to be running around the stadium with the baton in your hand? Instead, you gave the baton to someone else, and he physically assaulted you with it, and proved Earth's flat.
Yeah,
you had your moment. Yeah, and you squandered it, you stupid clown. You handed the baton to your opponent and are now wondering why he's physically raping you with it.
We can be nice, right? Chike hasn't been here in a while. Go ahead, Chike. Take another 5 minutes.
Yeah, have another 5. Good call.
Yeah.
Have another 5. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chike. You got the mic. 5 minutes. We wouldn't want to seem unreasonable.
You need to say please, though.
Please. We want your presentation. We really want it. Pretty please with sugar on top.
Thank you. So we have the observer at 1,200 feet. I know where he stands. I carefully found it on Google Earth by what he said. The observer is looking towards Blackpool Tower in the distance of 25 miles, give or take few hundred feet. Behind the tower, there is a electricity wind turbine, which I know its model, the height of the hub above the water, and in the far distance, 90 miles away, the turbine is about 45 miles, and the Isle of Man at the distance. I know the height of the mountains of the Isle of Man, which is above 1,200 feet, it's 1,750 feet high, meaning 1,200 feet is below the sea, somewhere. I see the line of sight that crosses from the 1,200 feet elevation of the observer to 1,200 feet elevation on the Isle of Man, and I mark the points it crossed the objects in the way. I identified it about 400 feet at the tower, at 290 feet at the hub. Now, that's easy. What I do with this data, I drew a diagram, show you the diagram.
Is there any more? Is that it?
He said he's going to show us a diagram.
Yeah, this is a diagram.
Right.
The diagram explains what I see. So the top line,
really sorry to interrupt,
is the line, of sight.
Second, Chike,
Go
please.
from the left.
You won't take a hint. No, he's like a machine. I'd like to see it and put it on screen. Can someone post it in Master B for me, please? Oh,
It's in main
Thank you.
text page.
I got it. Thank you. Carry on, Chike. My bad.
So to the left is the line that is marked horizontal in quotes is a straight line going from the observer to the Isle of Man, below the summit, because we know the summit is 1750, and this is only 1200. It's below. The vertical scale is more or less accurate, and we see it cross the tower at 400, and it cross the hub at 280. So we have a straight line from 1200 to 1200. Next, we have straight lines connected between the base of the hill, which is 0, relative to the bedrock, and the base of Blackpool Tower, which is a bit above it also. And we see this line is not parallel to the upper straight line at all.
Am I on the wrong
This
picture?
0...
Sorry, 1 second, Chike. Am I on the wrong picture? I've got a picture of some triangles with a load of 1,200 feet below horizontal, 390
Yeah, it's a drawing.
Am I on the right picture?
It's a diagram. It's not a picture.
That's not the picture.
No, it's a drawing that explains what we see. It will be easy for you to understand what we see. So we have the base of the
Chike, you've got to bear
hill.
with me. Sorry, you're saying
The base of the hill, zero elevation.
Chike, what is your malfunction? You're saying it's what we see. I haven't got that. I've got a picture of some triangles. It's like a line drawing.
Yes. Left triangle, Winter Hill. Right triangle is the mountain in the Isle of Man. Connect them a line of sight at 1200 elevation, 1200 feet elevation.
Sorry, so the picture, so the mountain on the right is the observer position, correct?
No, the left is the observer.
So the left
right
where it says
the Isle of Man.
1,200
It's
feet
a bit
below.
higher.
So the left where it says 1,200 feet below horizontal, this is, did you say Winter Hill?
Yes.
Okay.
And
the other picture that we've got,
the observer is 1200. Below it, the datum.
Oh my
God!
Oh my God! It's not like I'm trying to present your information to people. It's not like I've got an audience that needs to actually look at it, Chike. Maybe just keep talking incessantly. So.
Okay. Now I connect the 2 zeros.
That means shut up! Are you fucking stupid? That means shut the fuck up!
Mm-hmm. What did I miss?
Are you hearing me? Are you deaf? Shut up!
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now I've got a picture of Blackpool Tower. Is that the picture that goes along with it?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm slightly confused and I just need clarity. In the picture that I started with, I'm sorry that it was in the wrong order, Chike. My bad. Right? You said there's Winter Hill and there's a triangle on the left. Where's that in this picture with the tower, whatever it's called, Blackpool Tower? Where's that triangle?
Under the observer feet. He's standing on it.
Sorry, I'm just confused, Chike. In the picture that represents, quote, what we see, according to you, it has Winter Hill in the representation of, quote, what we see. When I go to the picture of what we actually see, it is not what we see. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So when you lie to me and tell me that this line drawing represents what we see, it doesn't.
Is my 5 minutes done? The observer.
Part of your presentation included you telling me that the diagram I was presenting to my audience was of what we see, and now I'm establishing, just before you continue, that the diagram on screen now for my audience is not what we see.
You're going to look dumb as hell.
I'll ask again for this coward who seems to be scared of my question about what he has presented and said, quote, this is representative of what we see, end quote. In fact, it is not what we see.
Your arguments are weak as fuck.
It's not an argument. I'm seeking clarity about your presentation, Chike.
I'm telling you
So you seem to refer to my argument. I'm seeking clarity about what you said. You said this was
hard to understand.
Am I not allowed to clarify a bit of your presentation? Am I not allowed? Is this just literally you get to present it, nobody gets to question anything about it, and unless you get to blart it out in its entirety without any clarification about lies and bullshit you say along the way, it's unreasonable unless you get to lie about, quote, what we see when this is...
What lie did I say, Nathan?
You said that this diagram on screen was, quote, what we see.
Yes.
So in this diagram, we have Winter Hill, and in the picture, we don't. So therefore, it is not what we see.
Go back to school.
So excuse me, is that an ad hominem attack? Because it seems me trying to clarify what you've said we see and we do not gets a response that I should go back to school. No, I've got eyeballs. I didn't need schooling to clarify that when someone says this represents what we see, it includes Winter Hill, and then I go to the picture and say, where's Winter Hill? And you say, we don't see it, then there's something wrong, Chike. I'm just clarifying.
No, I didn't.
I'm just clarifying your presentation. I don't need chanting through while I clarify what you're presenting.
The observer fit, Nathan.
So we don't see it, though, do we?
We can't because he...
So we can't see this triangle represented and told to the audience as being what we see. We can't see that, even though it's in the diagram and claimed to be what we see. Clear?
Yes.
So why would you tell me that this diagram represents what we see when it doesn't represent what we see?
It does.
No, we don't see Winter Hill. You see, Chike's now just told the audience that it does represent what we see. Well, if it does represent what we see and we see Winter Hill in this diagram, where do we see Winter Hill in the picture?
You don't see it in the picture.
So it does not represent what we see then. The diagram is not representative, quote, of what we see. You are either lying...
admit it, guys, huh? You following an idiot.
Sorry, why are you telling me that I'm an idiot when I identified that you've lied about what we see when presenting a diagram with a hill in it that we don't see?
Okay, you don't...
Not okay, it makes you a lying fuck. Yeah, it makes you a ball-believing scumbag that's presenting lies to an audience. Just lying, so that you can have your globe belief. It's not okay, Chike, very much not okay. Yeah? You say this diagram represents, quote, what we see. I ask you a question about how what we see isn't in the picture of what we actually see, and you tell me to go back to school. What gives? What gives, Chike?
So, we have the observer.
But you're going to ignore the critique, you coward. So I critique that you've lied about what we see, the diagram doesn't represent what we see, and you carry on with the presentation anyway. A bit like when we point out that it uses Earth as flat with sea level. You just ignore the critique and carry on with the presentation anyway. Because it's only reasonable that upon you lying in the presentation and it being pointed out, you carry on.
No critique. So we have a straight line.
So why are you carrying on? So is it just the cowardly, I will only do what I am programmed to do and nothing else because I cannot respond to the lie incorporated in my own presentation? I will lie about having a diagram showing what we see and it doesn't, but you'll carry on anyway in spite of that critique, correct? Coward. Your silence demonstrates your cowardly nature. Me having a good laugh with my panel, that's not me being a coward or needing to go back to school.
No, I'm waiting for...
You interrupting me is you being a coward whilst being berated for being a coward. A coward would interrupt whilst his cowardly nature's pointed out to him. That's what cowards do.
And you need to say please.
You need to stutter. Now, I'm done with saying please. I'm calling you a liar. This diagram is not what we see. You are a liar. Chike.
Chike, just as a question of tactics, did you think that we didn't hear you say that this is what we see, and then right after that say this is what we see? Did you think we didn't hear you say that?
I think and arrogant about your stupidity.
Sorry, knowing what we can see, seeing a hill that's claimed to be what we see, and then pointing out that we don't see it, that's nothing to do with our education level or intelligence level, and everything to do with you being a complete liar, a fraud, a scumbag, a deceitful man. That's what it's got everything to do with, Chike. So you throwing back these ad hominem attacks is not going to fly. That's right. Yeah, you're a coward. All you're doing is showing the audience how big of a coward you are.
And just for anyone listening, this is not a new Glober. This is somebody who's been in this for a long time. And this is what he has. This is what he's got for you guys. Or you guys that are on his side.
Go ahead, interpret now. Go ahead.
Yeah, he lied, our audience. So on screen now, he said this represents what we see. He was quite candid about telling us that this represented what we see. And then I say, okay, let's get some clarity then. So what's this? Winter Hill. Okay, so we can see Winter Hill, can we? Where's Winter Hill? We can't see it. Okay, so the diagram doesn't represent what we see. It is that simple. Okay, Chike. Sorry, you little shyster. You were caught out and you lie. It didn't get past us. You lie? You lying about what we can see in this diagram? We can't. You're a liar. We caught you. Liar. You got nothing to say, coward? Liar. What you globe believers have got.
The question is he retarded or not? Because even at a fundamental grade school level, this entire charade has been laughable. Yep. Holmes, every step of this from level doesn't mean flat. Then we read out flat is level. And then you said, get a ruler and draw a straight line. And then you told us it isn't straight. This is below second grade retard. Seriously, you need some help.
I said we're laughing at him.
I have to agree because me and Aaron were just talking in Master B, and I was asking because I've never heard of this guy or heard him, and I asked ingenuously, is it a language barrier that's his incoherency being so exemplified, or is he slow and there is a language barrier? And Aaron said pretty much both. Because I can't fathom anybody that's supposed to be an adult either being deceitful intentionally as a liar or to be this slow, aka retarded.
D-Rose, you're talking to a guy who swears he could see a strand of hair from over 100 feet away. A strand of hair.
You got to be kidding me.
No, ask him.
Oh my God.
We will both be analyzed by a professional psychologist, and you will tell us who is insane and who is not.
So you already know you're crazy.
Okay, online, live, in a show.
So we're going to have me assessed by a psychologist and the man living in a kennel also assessed by a psychologist. Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
Mine and yours. One against one, and we'll see who needs to be hospitalized.
The man with barking dogs.
You wouldn't take the challenge because you know you will fail. You need to go to a straight jacket.
Go home.
Okay.
What are you doing away from Gem Pandas?
Yeah, so what he's doing, in response to Earth is flat, you need to establish level baselines. Your example referenced the elevations of things against sea level. His response to that is to tell us that we're stupid, right?
Well,
language barrier is yours, not mine.
Did we say nuh-uh, Chike?
You have all you said
came out of us once.
All we said was and you prove Earth is flat when you reference the heights of everything with respect to a horizontal level line that is the Earth. That required the sea level to be level. So it wasn't it is that proves Earth's flat, Chike.
You accept my challenge then, Nathan.
A challenge to prove Earth's flat.
This is psychologist analysis online live.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get the psychologist in here, and we're gonna replay
Don't you
what
worry
you
about the
said.
psychologist.
No,
That's on
you didn't
me.
pick up what I was putting
That's
down.
on me.
What I'm
That's
putting
on-
down is, Chike, that your response to having Earth proved flat is to say me, a mere individual in society, needs to be put on a pedestal and assessed as an individual, as opposed to a response or a rebuttal to all the flat Earth proofs that we gave you using your own examples. You think that me, an individual, needs individual mental assessment. That's your response to Earth being proved flat. The very definition of an ad hominem attack, Chike, a fallacy.
Let's send the psychologist, have him come in, and then we'll just rewind and have him listen to you state this statement. Can we agree that the line of sight is straight, but it's always bent? What do you think the psychologist is going to do? Well, he's going to find your address, get a straitjacket, and start friggin'
No, the psychologist will analyze who what is sane and who is not. The rest is on you.
Yes,
You
we know,
want to
we
take
know
care
what
of your
thank you,
problem,
Chike,
take
for
care-
your ham-handed summary of what a psychologist does through the top of Quantum Eraser, describing your actions, you utter coward. Yes, we are well aware of what psychologists do, and we didn't need you, the dumbest person here, to explain that over the top of Quantum Eraser, summarising how stupid and idiotic your statements have been. No, we didn't need you to summarise what a psychologist was, Chike. That was sarcasm. Please be quiet. Thank you.
It's finished. It was over as soon as he entered the room. This is stupidity at like a below second grade retard level. Everything that he said.
With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, hitting me up on PayPal and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.